Welcome to Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, where today, top-ranked Ohio State invades. 2 years ago, Spartan All-American Bill Simpson intercepted a pass and recovered a fumble to set up 2 scores when Michigan State upset undefeated 5th-ranked Ohio State 19-12, a fact that Woody Hayes has tried to impress upon his players today. If he wasn't successful, we could see a repeat today.
The boos and the roar you just heard greet the Buckeyes.
Some player intros are going on while the Spartan band entertains. It's an electric atmosphere, and we're getting ready to go. Michigan State has won the toss and will receive. Tom Skladany tees it up for the Buckeyes. He approaches the ball and this game is underway. There's a big pile up at the 20 and the Spartans will start there. The quarterback is junior Charlie Baggett. Behind him, sophomore fullback Levi Jackson and sophomore tailback Rich Bays. Baggett fakes to Jackson, nearly falls but pitches to Rich Bays, who cuts inside of Doug Plank, and he has yardage. He gets to the 28 for a gain of 8. He was finally tackled by Ed Thompson and Tim Fox. 2nd and 2. Baggett tries to give it to Jackson but lost the ball and he fell on it for no gain. Jackson left early and there is a 5-yard mark off against the Spartans. It will be 2nd down and 7. Baggett drops back, then rolls left, throws, and it's tipped and nearly intercepted by Tim Fox. Number 36 Bruce Elia tipped that pass about 5 yards downfield. 3rd down, Baggett has 2 receivers split left. He hands it to Rich Bays and he churns up the middle near a 1st down. It's 4th and inches and Denny Stoltz will gamble early as he is going for it. Baggett gets the snap, drives over right guard, and he has the 1st down. That's a big early gamble by Denny Stoltz, but he's playing for keeps here today. Baggett turns, hands it to Rich Bays, who has some room, but he was met hard in the hole by Bruce Elia. Give him 4 on the play. Baggett drops back under heavy pressure. He eludes the rush and cuts up inside and gets 3. So Charlie Baggett avoided a big loss there, and it brings up a 3rd down and 3 situation. This time he gives it to Levi Jackson going right, and he has the 1st down out to the 44-yard line. Nice read by Baggett that time. And this time, nothing doing as he's handed it to Jackson, and he was met at the line and dropped by number 42, senior Arnie Jones. Loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and 10, Baggett fakes inside, drops back, and throws, and it's dropped at the 20-yard line by Mike Hurd. The Buckeyes are lucky that wasn't a 6-pointer. 3rd and 12, the left guard moves, which will cost the Spartans 5 more. 3rd down, 17, Baggett drops straight back this time. Drops it short to Jackson in the right flat, and he gets out to the Buckeye 49, but he comes up 3 yards short of the 1st down. Michigan State to punt. Punt formation, and there's the snap, and it's fumbled, and the Buckeyes swarm all over the punter, and they have a big early break as they will take over at the Spartan 39. with 9:46 to play, first quarter. Cornelius Green sets the Ohio State offense. Pete Johnson is the fullback. Archie Griffin is the tailback. Green gives to Griffin. He's hit, spins once, twice, and is stopped at the 35. Gain of 4 on the play. 2nd and 6. Green hands off to Griffin again. He has a hole up the middle, and he squirts for 11 yards to the Spartan 24. Number 5, John Breslin, drug him down, or he could have been off to the races on that play. Green hands it to Griffin again, and he moves straight ahead behind a good line surge, and he gets 5 more. The Buckeyes are traveling behind number 69, the center, Dick Mack. 2nd and 5 at the Spartan 19. Green gives it to Griffin, and he powers to the 11-yard line. Strong running by Archie Griffin to start this game off. Green fakes it this time, keeps around the right side, and he is tackled at the 9. Better job by the Spartans on that play. Otto Smith made the stop. Second down from the 8. Green gets the snap. He rolls left, looking to pass, is pressured, reverses field, gets pressured again, throws to Griffin at the goal line. Incomplete. The Spartans have had excellent contain on the last 2 plays. Archie Griffin was complaining of interference on the play, but it's to no avail. 3rd down from the 8, and Green gives it to Brian Baschnagel on a counter. He gets 3 yards to the 5, but it brings up a 4th and 4. Baschnagel ran to the middle of the field, so you have to wonder if Woody Hayes wanted the ball centered for a field goal try. Tom Claiborne is in, and his 21-yard field goal try is good. So there is 6:29 to play in the first, and Ohio State leads it 3-0. The kickoff units have taken the field. Ohio State has just taken a 3-0 lead on a 21-yard Tom Claiborne field goal. Skladany is ready, and here is the kick. Skladany exits the field to the right as it sails out of the end zone. Spartans ball, 1st and 10 at the 20. I formation with 2 receivers split right. Baggett hands it to Rich Bays up the middle, and he is spun down after a short gain by Arnie Jones. 2nd down and 7. Baggett bellies it to Levi Jackson. He's hit at the line and gets nothing. Right tackle Pete Cusick stood his man up and stuffed the play for Ohio State. 3rd and 7. Baggett takes the snap, is rolling right under heavy pressure, and he is snowed under back at the 15-yard line by Jim Cope, number 91. Outstanding defensive series by the Buckeyes. Fred Duda, the backup punter, is in there. There's the rush. He gets the kick away. There are 2 Buckeyes converging on the kick at the 45. They hit, and it's a fumble. Picked up by Greg Schaum, and he is running for the goal line. Wait a minute, the play has been whistled dead. It has been ruled a muff, and that cannot be returned. Ohio State's Bruce Rule was running backwards and for some reason tried an over-the-shoulder catch when regular return man Neil Colsey was right there. Greg Schaum scooped it up and was tackled at the 15-yard line, but they will return the ball to the Buckeye 43 where it was muffed. So this break goes the Spartans' way, and we'll see if they can capitalize on their break. Baggett has them set and ready to go. He fakes to Jackson right, drops back quickly, and throws deep and overthrows Mike Jones, who was in the slot, and gave a quick juke inside and ran the fly pattern. The Buckeye coverage was there. This time Charlie Baggett hands it to Levi Jackson, who hits the hole hard, and he gets to the 39 for a gain of 5. Good hard running by Levi Jackson that time. 3rd and 5, Baggett drops back to throw, looking for Jackson, and it's almost intercepted by Bruce Elia. He could have had 6 for Ohio State had the missed throw by Baggett been caught. 4th down, the Spartans will try to pin Ohio State. There's the kick. It hits at the 7 and bounds into the end zone. So the Buckeyes avoid disaster on the muffed kick and take over at the 20-yard line with 3:39 to go in the first. Cornelius Green fakes it to Pete Johnson, jukes to the inside, then tries to go wide, and he might have 2 yards as the Spartan defense was there. 2nd and 8 at the 22. Green rolls to the left, pitches to Griffin, and he is cut down after a short gain. Pat McLaury made a nice play coming from his right outside linebacker position. 3rd down and 6. Green rolls right, cuts sharply up inside, and he gets a 1st down. The Spartans couldn't react quickly enough when Green made his cut. 1st down at the 31. Green gives it to Pete Johnson up the middle. He is hit hard but crashes through for 5 yards to the 36. 2nd and 5. Green to Johnson again. He's met but rolls off again to near 1st down yardage. Ohio State is battering the middle right now. 3rd and 1. Green has them set in a straight T. Long count. He gives no fakes to Johnson and then gets hammered down, and it looks short of the 1st down. Paul Rudzinski, number 37, and Kim Rokamp, number 43, step up for a huge stop by the Spartans. Down, the Buckeyes will punt. Skladany at the 25. Snap is a little high. He boots it away. It is fielded by Tom Hannon at the 14. He starts right, cuts back across field to the left, and slices through a seam out to the 25-yard line. The ball came loose, but he was ruled down. A 45-yard punt by Skladany and an 11-yard return by Hannon. 1st and 10 from the 25. Baggett rides it to Levi Jackson, and he bulls forward for 6 yards. Fine power running by the sophomore fullback of the Spartans. Ranked Ohio State holding a narrow 3-0 lead. Second and 3. Baggett drops back. He launches a long one down the right sideline intended for Mike Hurd, but it is incomplete. Hurd was well covered that time. 3rd and 3. Baggett wheels, turns, and gives it to Bays, and he is hit and dropped short of the line of scrimmage. Bruce Elia, Arnie Jones, and Nick Bonamici were all there for Ohio State. Fourth down, due to the punt. Standing at his 20, there is the kick, and it's fielded by Neil Colsey at the 10. He cuts to his left and gets it to the 20. Ohio State will have a 1st down there. First and 10 at the 20. There is the give to Griffin. He cuts to his left, then right up the middle and surges forward to the 27. Gain of 7 on the play. I formation. There's a handoff straight ahead to Champ Henson, who is in there at fullback. Nice run out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 8 for Henson. Green fakes the pitch and gives it to Henson, who is bowling off the left side. He drives forward to the 41 for a gain of 6 more yards. This time, full house backfield and 2 tight ends. Green hands it to Henson again behind a lead block by Bashnagel, and he gets the first down out to the 46-yard line. The Spartans' defense seems to be hanging by a thread right now under a fullback assault by Woody Hayes. Green gives it to Henson, and he has 4 or 5 more nearing the Spartan 44-yard line. Henson has 24 yards and 4 straight carries. 2nd and 6. Green fakes into Griffin. He bootlegs left and gets walloped for a 1-yard loss. Number 53, Pat McLaury, seems to have had enough, and he leveled Green for a loss on the play. 3rd down and 7. Green fakes to Henson inside, drops back, pumps, throws long over the middle, and it's intercepted. The pass was intended for Dave Hazel, but Tom Hammond had position and picked it off. Another big stop for Michigan State, who has managed to thwart any momentum the Buckeye offense seemed to be building. Spartans ball at their 8. Baggett slips it to Levi Jackson. Nothing fancy going on here as they stayed conservative close to their own goal line. 2nd down, gain of 3 by Jackson. He hands off to Bays running right. He gets some room around the right end, but is met and pushed out of bounds at the 15. 3rd down, long count. He gives to Bays again, same play. He breaks one tackle, breaks another, and cuts up the sideline for a 1st down, Michigan State. He took a wallop by Steve Luke at the 24, but it was a fine effort by Rich Bays to dig the Spartans out of this hole. Baggett is rolling to his left this time, tries to turn it up, but runs out of space. Good pursuit by the Buckeyes that time as Bruce Elia made the stop. 2nd down at the 26, a straight handoff to Levi Jackson this time, and he manages 4 yards. It will bring up a 3rd down and 4 for Michigan State. Baggett, long count, might be inaudible. He gives it to Jackson, but he is stopped short of the 1st, so Michigan State will have to punt. Duda standing at his own 19. There's the kick. It's a short kick that is fair caught by Tim Fox at the 40-yard line. Only 27 yards on the kick, so the Buckeyes have field position again. 7:32 to play in the half.
Woody Hayes has used his fullback a little bit more, trying to ease the pressure on Arch. And we may see here, with the Buckeyes 1st and 10 at their own 40, some more of the Griffin activities down there, Bert.
1st and 10 from their own 40. 7.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Here's Green giving to Griffin, and Griffin is snowed under after a gain of 2 at the 42-yard line, as Rokamp made the first contact, followed by Pat McLaury and his brother Terry McLaury. Give Archie possibly 3. He got out close to about the 43-yard line, and it's 2nd and a long 7. Out of the huddle they come, slot left. Hazel wide. Henson is the fullback. As Green goes back to throw, has time. He dumps it to Griffin over the center, and Griffin is dumped at about the 47-yard line, where it's short of the 1st down by about 3 yards. So the Buckeyes have a 3rd and a long 3 for the 1st down, as the Spartans dig in, trying to force the Buckeyes to punt. Henson and Griffin in the running positions, slot right. Green looking over the defenses, pitches to Griffin. Griffin cutting back, doesn't get it, I don't believe. He's short at about the 48-yard line. Now we'll see whether or not the Buckeyes will be punting. I believe they will. Yes, Scordaney comes out as Archie is held for a 1-yard gain. And now Charlie Arney comes in as going back to receive the punt is Hannon, and here's Scordaney's kick. Almost, and it goes into the end zone on a fly. It was almost blocked, but it is a touchback. A 52-yard kick, and now Michigan State takes over 1st and 10 from their own 20. And so this first half, with the exception of the Buckeyes converting on their one break to get a field goal, has been a punting duel and a defensive battle. 3-0 Ohio State, 5:40 remaining in the first half as the Spartans prepare to put the ball into play from their own 20-yard line. The Spartans huddling, preparing to put the ball into play. This is Bert Charles along with Joe Hill at Spartan Stadium. 5:40 remaining in the first half. Ohio 3, Michigan State nothing. A double wing off the eye. Baggett barking the signals against the 5-man front. Gives to Levi Jackson, who gets 2, possibly 3, as he is hit and brought down at about the 23-yard line. We'll call it a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7, as both teams have been using their fullback up the middle to get that 3 yards, and it looks like old button-shoe football here this afternoon. Jones going wide right, Hurd coming wide left. Luke comes over to cover Hurd. Colsey goes over to cover Jones. As Baggett on the draw play gives to Bays, and Bays escaped one tackler at the 30, 35, down at the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for Michigan State. A good call and an excellent draw. Timmy Fox finally making the tackle for Ohio State. A 15-yard gain as Tyrone Wilson comes into the lineup replacing Bays. And again it's the double wing off the eye. The ball's the 38, 1st and 10 for Michigan State. Baggett keeping the ball, trying to duck in. He gets to the 40, 45, 50, 45 of Ohio, down on the 41 of Ohio, or 40-yard line. A beautiful run by Baggett. And Plank was the last man that could have got it, and he got it. A 21-yard run by Baggett. And it looked like a quarterback draw play, a beautifully executed play. And the Spartans are threatening from the 41 of Ohio. Baggett asks for quiet as the Buckeyes dig in. Michigan State with a double wing once again. Baggett gives to his Tyrone Wilson, the new tailback in there, and he's held for no gain, possibly a half a yard. We'll see where they mark the football. Well, they give him about a half a yard. We'll call it 2nd and a long 9. Now Bays comes in, replacing Tyrone Wilson. The ball is just short of the 40-yard line of Ohio State in Spartan possession. Jones going wide right in the slot, and Hurd going almost out to the east sideline as the split end. And it is a draw play again. No, it isn't. It is a keeper. He faked the draw and kept the ball, and Van de Cree caught him behind the line of scrimmage. This time, the fake didn't work. Baggett faked to Bays, kept the football, and was caught back on the 47-yard line by Van de Cree. So it'll be 3rd and about 16. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ohio leads 3-0. And a big play coming up for Michigan State. Wide right, Jones. Wide left, Hurd. Buckeyes still with a 5-man line as Baggett sprints out to throw. He's being rushed. He gets the pass off, and it is fumbled. Incomplete. The same player who fumbled it before fumbled it again. Hurd. He hit him right in the middle with it. He drilled it in there, and Hurd could not hold it. It would have been short of the first down, but not by too much. So now they have a 4th and 16, and Duda is in to punt. And neither team has been very much on the offense.
This is going to be the 5th punt, the 6th attempt. The first, of course, Bernie was injured as he fumbled.
Here's the snap, and here's the boot. A low bouncing kick to Colty on the 15, back to the 20, and down at about the 21. And somebody kicked him in the head as he went down. The booing is because they wanted to get a roughing the kicker call on a pretty good act by Duda. So now the Buckeyes get the football back on their own 20-yard line. 2:42 remaining in the half. Ohio leading 3-0. And the offense has left a great deal to be desired. The defense has come out very, very well here in this ball game. The offense has given up the ball in very bad field position a couple of times, but the defense has held well.
Again, Bert, we might remind everybody that Archie Griffin has carried the ball 8 times here in the first half of the ball game, only twice in the second quarter, and he has picked up 38 yards, about 62 yards shy of the 100 mark everybody was hoping he'd be able to rack up. He holds the new record in successive 100-yard games.
One of the questions that this reporter had before the game was the relative team speed of Michigan State as opposed to Ohio State. And thus far in the ball game, we'd have to say that the Spartans are just as fast overall, because the Buckeyes have been unable to get anybody outside all afternoon. And the green and white fans have certainly done a good job of sparking up the Spartan team. Because of the TV, we're getting a lot of extra times out. But when action is resumed, the Buckeyes will have it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. The score 3-0, Ohio State. Hazel going wide left. Henson and Griffin are in the eye. Green, the quarterback. Green keeping the football, circling around to his right, gets to the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, and is out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. Finally, on a reversal of field, Green got outside and sprinted out to about the 41-yard line. So the quarterbacks have now traded off 21-yard scampers.
Yeah, they're having quite a duel, all right. Baggett of Michigan State, Green, of course, of Ohio State, and here's that wide spread again, Bert.
1st and 10, slot to the left, the ball on the 41-yard line. And here's the counter to Basnagel. Basnagel gets to the 45 and to the 47-yard line. A pickup on the play of about 6 yards. He needed one more block, and he was into the secondary and long gone, but he didn't get it. Rokamp making the tackle. But the ball is on the 47-yard line, 2nd and about 4. Otto Smith, the defensive end, is an excellent ball player, and he refused to be taken out of the play. Now the Bucks go into a short slot to the right. In motion is Basnagel. And one of the Bucks went offside. Lou Petrini went offside. Naturally, the Spartans will take the 5 yards. Illegal procedure against Ohio State. And so they'll have a 2nd and about 11. And we'll see whether the Buckeyes will go to the air. Mistakes this afternoon have cost both teams dearly. The ball is at the 42. Lou Petrini was the man who couldn't get the starting count and went offside. It's a slot left. Hazel out wide. Ohio State has not gone to the air as yet. If ever we saw a passing down, we have one now. But it is Basnagel on the counter, and he moves to the 45-yard line. A gain of about 2, and it's 3rd and about 6, a long 6. The ball on the 45-yard line, and still the Buckeyes do not go to the air. Green setting up, slot left. He sprints out to his left, looking to throw. Now decides to run with the ball. Fakes out one man, fumbles, and it is fallen on by Ohio State. Or is it? No, it's Michigan State. They have the football, and they fumble it away again. The ball is on the Michigan State 47-yard line. Ohio State Matt had the football, and it squirted loose, and Greg Schaum picked it up on the 46-yard line. And this is a comedy of errors.
That was a first down as Green picked up 9 yards, but as he went down, he fumbled the ball. The Buckeyes hit it first, were unable to hold it, and so Michigan State has it at their own 46.
They've saved up all the mistakes for one afternoon here. It's a double wing off the eye. Jones to the right as Baggett sprints out to throw. Has time. Now he's being chased. Reverses his field. And it is almost intercepted by Van de Cree.
Oh, he could have been gone, Bert.
Are they calling it an incompleted pass?
Yes. Yes.
They called it an incompleted pass. He did get his arm forward. So it's 2nd and 10. The ball from the 46. And honestly, if they look like high school players this afternoon, both teams.
DeCree could have had that ball with another step to his left. They say they think it was intended for Jackson. I don't know where they found him out there, but DeCree almost got it in the backfield.
The fumbling, the crossing the line of scrimmage before the snap, the total ineptitude by both teams. Here's the fake draw, and he's throwing it down the middle. Complete to Hurd at the 37-yard line, and he falls forward to the 36. A beautiful pattern, post pattern right down the middle, a crossing pattern, and he drilled it right down the middle, and Hurd caught it on the 36. An 18-yard gain, and the Spartans are threatening with less than 1 minute remaining. Ohio leads it 3-0, and they send Jones wide right, Hurd wide left. The Buckeyes in a 5-man front. Baggett going back to throw again, being rushed. It is knocked down and almost intercepted. It was intended for the big tight end, Mike Cobb, the Youngstown, Ohio, 6'6" tight end. Almost intercepted again, but it goes as an incompleted pass. 38 seconds remaining in the half. 3-0, Ohio. And now a timeout has been called by Michigan State, and with time called, time in for you.
Repairs, if you please. Only 38 seconds left here in the first half, and the Buckeyes have been able to rack up only 3 points. Archie Griffin has been held to 38 yards and 8 attempts. Michigan State is really hyped up for this one. It's a similar situation to a couple of years ago, Bert.
Out of the huddle they come. It's a slot right, Hurd wide right. Jones in the slot. Sprinting out to his right is Baggett. He's being chased now, and he falls down as he's hit by Bonamici. Bonamici hit him and dropped him behind the 50-yard line, all the way back at the 48. And Bonamici, who had a great game last week, again comes up with a great defensive play. And now, again, Michigan State called for timeout. It's a 16-yard sack by Bonamici. And with time called, once again, it's time in for you.
And so, with 21 seconds left on the scoreboard, here in the first half of the ball game, Michigan State find themselves 3rd and 26, thanks to a sack a moment ago by Nick Bonamici, who was rushing in there and just got him around the ankle, flipped him over at the Michigan State 48-yard line. They're out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage, Bert.
The ball on the 48. The Buckeyes go into a prevent defense. We doubt that they'll be rushing too many men. As Baggett goes back to pass, looking far downfield, decides to run, gets away from 2 tacklers. Now is sprinting to his left, running at the 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, and down at the 21-yard line. At 7 seconds, he called for time. It's not a first down, I don't believe. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a first down. And they let him get off the hook again.
The ball down on the 22-yard line. And that's 25-yard scamper as he just sneaked away from the Buckeyes and gained 30 yards.
Hans Nielsen from Denmark, a soccer-style field goal kicker, will be booting this one from about the 27-yard line, a 37-yard effort, and before the game he was drilling it home pretty accurately from that distance. Tyrone Willingham will hold, and Hans Nielsen, a freshman, will attempt.
Birdie's hit 1 out of 3 this year for Michigan State.
The scrimmage line is the 22. It'll probably be booted from about the 28 or 29, closer to the 29, so it'll be a 39-yard attempt. Willingham will hold. It's a slight angle, but very little. The Buckeyes have 9 men at the line of scrimmage. Here's the boot up. It looks long enough, and it's good. And it's a tie ball game. With 2 seconds remaining, it's all tied up. 3-3, and the Spartans have wriggled off the hook at least a half a dozen times. Once again, with timeout on the field while the crowd is going delirious, here's the word for you.
State obviously is keying on him. Michigan State will have time for the kickoff, and number 89, Willis, is the deep man for the Buckeyes.
Nielsen gets the signal from Gene Calhoun, moves in on the ball, and it's a knuckleballer. They want to keep it away from him. It is Pete Johnson running it back and getting to about the 39-yard line at the end of the half. And the Spartans go out running as though they have a 14-point lead instead of a 3-3 tie. But actually, they're 24-point underdogs coming in. The Buckeyes have made every mistake in the book. The Spartans haven't exactly played sterling football. It looked more like a high school football game, or less than that, it looked like a playground football game with somebody being bumped at the line of scrimmage, running around this end, couldn't find daylight, ran around another end. The play that set up the field goal, he was hemmed in behind the line of scrimmage. At least 4 Buckeyes had clean shots at him, missed it. He ran along the Michigan State bench, didn't get too many blocks. He just ran, ducked, and dodged, and Baggett set up the field goal. And so Baggett, who was said to have a big mouth, put his feet and he put his money where his mouth was in that first half, because he got the Spartans off the hook 3 or 4 times. The Buckeyes made every mistake in the book, and they still came out with a 3-3 tie. Fans will be back with the first half statistics and the halftime activities in just a moment.
We are at halftime here at Spartan Stadium, and the Buckeyes have been tied 3-3. That's the score. Let's pause now 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Buckeye Football Network.
WBKO AM and FM in Columbus, Ohio.
Bart ready to go. The Spartans will take the field, defending the south goal. The Buckeyes defending the north goal, and will receive. Woody Hayes out there amid his players as this second half gets underway. And here again, play-by-play action with Bert Charles.
Thank you again, Joe. A great halftime show. As a matter of fact, a professional halftime show, whereas the first half produced a lot of thrills for the fans, but not very much of what might be called good football. And now, Nielsen, Hans Nielsen from Denmark, who on the next to last play of the game tied up the ball game with a 39-yard field goal, will be kicking off from our right to our left. The Spartans defending the south goal. Willis, Bashnagel, and Griffin are the deep men for the Buckeyes, who will be receiving the second half kickoff, defending the north goal. 3-3. These two great rivals. Gene Calhoun whistles go ahead, and here's the boot. A low sailing kick, bouncing, fielded by Willis at the 5, back to the 10, back to the 15, and down at about the 18-yard line. That knuckleball kick was hard to handle, and again, we had the spectacle of the ball seeming like it had grease on it, Joe.
I don't know what it is. Nobody seems to want the ball, or at least is able to hold on to the ball. So the Buckeyes take over now, just shy of their 18-yard line, 1st and 10.
Buckeyes coming out of the huddle right now. Hazel going wide left. It is Henson and Griffin in the eye. As Green gives to Griffin, and Griffin goes off tackle, gets across the 20, and moves out to about the 22-yard line. A pickup of 4, possibly 5.
Archie Griffin, the ball carrier.
Griffin had 37 yards in the first half. He gets 4, moving the ball to about the 22-yard line.
Ball is on the 22.
McLaury, Pat McLaury, making the tackle. Pat and Terry McLaury are identical twins, linebackers for Michigan State. Slot right, Michigan State again in that 5-man front. The linebackers up very, very tight. And now it is a counter with Bashnagel going outside, getting across the 25 to about the 27-yard line, where it is very close to the first down. It looks short from this angle by about a half a yard. And it'll be third at about a half, or third and about a yard for the Buckeyes. The ball just short of the, well, just at about the 27-yard line. Now it is Paul Rodzinski coming in. He always comes in on short yardage situations, replacing Breslin. And they load up the line of scrimmage. The Buckeyes in a full house backfield, tight T, against the 6-man front. And it is Henson, and he gets the first down. He is at the 30, 1st and 10 for Ohio. Now, coming back in is John Breslin, as the Buckeyes have only thrown the ball 3 times, completed 1, a little dump pass over the middle to Griffin, and they've had 1 intercepted. The ball at the 30-yard line, 1st and 10. It's a slot left. And it is Griffin coming up the middle, getting short yardage out to about the 34, possibly the 35-yard line. We said short yardage. Actually, he got about 4, possibly 5. We'll give him 4.5, just short of the 35-yard line. And that was a straight-ahead burst up the middle. The ball just short of the 35-yard line. Hazel coming wide right, Bashnagel in the slot. 2nd and about 6. A long count by Green. He's keeping the ball, and he can't go. Nowhere to go. And they have been keying on Green all afternoon. And it'll be a 3rd down play from about the 36-yard line with a long 4 to get. Otto Smith has played fine defensive ball. And now coming in is Bartosik, replacing Doug France, who is limping off the field. And the Bucks go to a slot right. The ball at the 36, a possession play coming up.
Bert, excuse me, they have 12 men on the field out there, and somebody has called timeout for Michigan State to get him out.
Well, a very wise timeout, but the officials seemingly had not noticed it. But with that time called, why, time in for a word from you.
They had to call timeout to get it all straightened out, and so that has been done. Play will be resuming shortly. It is a 3-3 ball game with the Buckeyes huddling, and they have it with a 3rd and 4 at their own 36-yard line. The Buckeyes taking over at their 18 have moved it out to the 36. They have not been moving the ball effectively. Michigan State matching them in total offense during the first half of the ball game, just about 130 to 123.
Joe, there are 78,533 fans here. It's the 5th largest crowd in Spartan Stadium history. As play is resumed, the Buckeyes have the football, 3rd and a long 4 to go, a possession play coming up from their own 36. It's a slot, and now Bashnagel is in motion to the right. Green going back to throw, has time,
got him,
looking. Throwing from Bartosik, and he hits him on the Spartan 35-yard line. And the Buckeyes get a big play from the 36 to the 35, a 29-yard pass to Bartosik. Actually, they mark him down on the 34. So it's a 30-yard pass play. Tom Graves making the stop. And the Buckeyes threatening now with a 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line as Green hits on a big one. Green giving to Griffin, and Griffin finding nowhere to go, gets close to the 30-yard line, a pickup of 3.5, possibly 4. I believe they're going to mark him down on about the 31. So it's a gain of 3, 2nd and 7. And Jim Talbert, the co-captain tackle, has been a tough man to move all day. 2nd and 6, slot right. The ball on the 31-yard line of Michigan State. Green fakes the counter, and he hits his man, and he cannot hold it. Bartosik was thrown a little bit behind him, but Bartosik got his hands on it, couldn't hold it. He faked to Bashnagel on the counter, which suddenly kept the linebackers still. Bartosik got into the seam, but the pass was thrown a little bit behind him, and he couldn't hold it.
Bert Archie Griffin now in 11 carries has 50 yards, plus 1 pass for 5.
A big play coming up as Bashnagel moves from left to right in motion. And on a draw play, Griffin going up the middle, moves to about the 25, 26-yard line. He's short of the first down at about the 26. They're going to mark him back almost 2 yards because his knee touched. So it'll be a 4th down play and about 2 yards to get. And we'll see what the strategy is. A big play. If the Buckeyes can keep their drive going, they can take it on in. And timeout has been called by Steve Myers, one of the co-captains. With the ball on the 26-yard line, they have a 4th down play and about 1.5 yards to go for 1st down. Timeout on the gridiron. Here's a break for you.
Well, the Buckeyes of Ohio State now have come from their own 18-yard line down to the Michigan State 26-yard line, and they have it 4th and 2. And a mighty big play coming up for Ohio State. 4th down. The ball game is tied 3-3, and the Buckeyes in this drive have also used up slightly more than 4 minutes. 4 minutes, 6 seconds have elapsed on the clock since the opening kickoff of the second half. Corny Green has been over talking to his coaches. The Buckeyes are huddling. The referee is coming back towards the ball. I guess we'll be underway, Bert, very shortly.
And, Joe, this could be one of the most important plays of this rather thrilling, if unscientifically played ball game, because if the Buckeyes can get the 1st down, they will continue their drive. If the Spartans hold, they may get some momentum. The crowd is roaring. Green calls for quiet, but he doesn't get it. And the crowd refuses to be quiet, so he takes his team back into the huddle. And you hear the result of that. This is repeated in every stadium around the nation, and we wonder when the fans are going to learn.
Michigan 7, Illinois 0.
First period, Michigan leads Illinois 7-0. Now the Buckeyes come out of the huddle. The ball on the 26. They're in a full house backfield, and Michigan has about 9 men on the line of scrimmage. It is Griffin being stopped, but he keeps going, and he gets the 1st down. Second effort. They stopped him at the line of scrimmage. He bounced off and kept going, and he moved it to the 21-yard line where Tom Hennon came up to get him. And a great second effort by Archie Griffin. Moves the ball to the 21. He got 5 on the play where he was stopped.
Bert, they had him cold there for a moment, but he, with excellent balance, just spun off and came on around for another 5 yards. He has 60 in 13 carries.
The ball is at the 21-yard line. Now they go back to a slot right. In motion is Bashnagel, moving to his left. The pitch out is to Archie. Archie coming up the middle, and he moves all the way down to about the 15-yard line, a gain of close to 6 on the play. He started as a sweep. He saw his opening. Myers got the 1 block, and up the middle he came, a gain of about 5.5. Griffin injured on that last play. He's limping back into the huddle, but he did not signal to the bench. So the ball is just short of the 15-yard line, 2nd and 5. It's a slot left. And in motion is Bashnagel, left to right. This time it is Henson coming up the middle, roaring for a 1st down inside the 10. He's at about the 8-yard line, and it'll be first and goal. They mark him between the 8 and the 9. We'll call it the 8-yard line. And now Bartosik comes in. And we have a replacement for Michigan State. It is Radzinski coming in for the short yardage situation. John Breslin comes out. And the Buckeyes immediately go into a button shoe. 3-3 the ball game. All tied up. A tight T. As Green gives to Griffin, and Griffin gets inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. A gain of about 5 on the play. They were expecting the fullback, and they got Archie. And it's second and goal to go from the 4-yard line as the Buckeyes, using nothing of any great scientific nature, it's just pure power football. The big play in this drive was a Green to Bartosik pass. And now it's second and goal. Again, it's full house backfield. The ball is on the 4-yard line. Green this time gives to Henson, and Henson gets to about the 2.5. And it's third and goal from the 2.5-yard line. A great defensive play by McLaury on that one. Terry McLaury meeting Henson along with Radzinski. And it's a third and goal to go. The ball just short of the 2-yard line. Again, it's a full house backfield, and the fans are roaring. Green with a long count. Rolling out to his left, looking to throw. Still rolling. And he throws it into the end zone, incomplete. He threw it left-handed. Incomplete when he saw he was hemmed in. So it's a fourth down play now with 2.5 to go. And we'll see whether the field goal team is coming in. It is. The field goal team is coming in. The ball is on the 2.5-yard line. And the Michigan State Spartan line has been magnificent. They had a first and goal to go from the 8-yard line, and they've held the Buckeyes for 3 downs for about 5 yards. Bastnagel will hold. Clavin will attempt the field goal. Waiting for the snap. Here's the ball up in the air, and it is good. Ohio leads by 3 again, 6-3, and with timeout on the field, time in for you.
He does not have the ball as yet. The Buckeyes are defending the northern end of the field. They have taken another 3-point lead, 6-3 with 8 minutes, 11 seconds. And 15 carries, 69 yards officially given to Archie Griffin as of this point in the ball game. And the Buckeyes are not substituting very much out here this afternoon against these high, very high Spartans, Bert.
And a fine defensive stand was made by the Spartans on that last drive. However, the Buckeyes proved that they could move the ball. They moved it from their own 18 down to the Spartan 3. Imhoff and Tyrone Wilson are the deep men. Referee Gene Calhoun signals, and Skladany moves in on the football. He's kicking into a pretty good wind. Here's the boot coming down to Imhoff at the 2-yard line. Back to the 5, 10, 15, 20, and down at about the 23-yard line, where the Spartans will put the ball into play. 6-3 the ball game. Ohio State leading by a precious 3 points. But they are being given what for? Pat Curdo and Beeman making the tackle on that kickoff return. Green has gone all the way at quarterback. Baggett has gone all the way for the Spartans. And now it is Jones wide left, Hurd wide right. I formation. Baggett pitching out, and he has Bays wide, and Bays gets 10 yards. Or no, 8 yards, I beg your pardon. He was knocked out at the 30... between the 30 and 31-yard line. We saw one official step out of bounds, but the other one had marked where Bays had stepped out. The ball just above the 30, a gain of 7 by Bays. 2nd and 3. The ball just above the 30, and again it's the twins, Jones and Hurd, wide left and right. I formation. Again, it's a sprint out. This time Baggett keeps, and he is short of the first down by about a half a yard. He got to about the 33 and was pushed back. And the Boo Birds here at Spartan Stadium are out in real plentiful supply. Third down and about a half a yard to go. The ball at the 33. So the Spartans need only a half a yard to continue this drive. Again, it is Hurd wide left, Jones wide right, I formation. Buckeyes having 7-man line. It is Bays getting the first down at the 35, possibly the 36-yard line over his own right guard. Rich Bays, who has been a fine tailback for the Spartans, moves the ball to the 36-yard line, and the Spartans have a 1st and 10. They trailed 6-3. Jones coming wide left, and Hurd split right. The Buckeyes in a 52 defense as Baggett gives to Bays on a draw, and Bonamici nails him for a loss back on the 32. Bonamici has played fine defensive football this afternoon, continuing his great game and effort last week. The ball at the 32, and it's the 2nd and 13. He's made 2 key defensive plays for the Buckeyes. The first one for Norton.
2nd down and 13. Baggett fakes to Jackson, rolls left, and pitches to Bays. He gets smothered back at the 22 by Nick Bonamici and Arnie Jones. The Spartans are moving backwards right now, and there is a whiff of momentum for the Buckeyes. 3rd down and 23. Baggett gives it to Levi Jackson, going right, and he gets very little.
And the punting team comes onto the field. So the Buckeyes, after giving up a first down, get 2 great defensive plays and hold. And Neil Colty drops off as a safety. Judah, the 2nd-string punter, has punted extremely well. He'll be punting with a pretty good wind at his back. The wind has picked up, Joe. Look at the flag.
Right. Much stronger now.
He's standing on his own 14-yard line waiting for the snap. He gets a good pass and a pretty good boot, which is going to be taken by Timmy Fox. And Fox is nailed at the 42 or 43-yard line of Ohio State, where the Buckeyes, in excellent field position, hope to be able to add to their 3-point lead.
Well, the Buckeyes have shown that they can march the ball. They went some 79 yards in 15 plays to rack up their 2nd field goal of the afternoon and take the lead 6-3. That is the current score with 4 minutes, 54 seconds remaining. And the Bucks coming up to the line of scrimmage.
And it is Henson and Griffin along with Bashnagel and Green in the backfield. It's a tight slot right. And in motion is Bashnagel, left to right. As Green gives to Griffin, and Griffin, ducking and dodging, moves the ball close to the 48, 49-yard line. A gain of about 5 on the play as he finds his hole and moves toward it. 2nd and a long 5. The ball at the Ohio State 48-yard line. Ohio State has not used too much trickery, a few counters and a few passes. The big piece of real estate in the drive that set up the field goal was a Green to Bartosik pass. Now Bashnagel is in motion, left to right. Here is Henson stumbling, but getting a few into Michigan State territory at the Michigan State 48-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and about 1. 3rd and 1 at the Michigan State 48.
Archie Griffin now, Bert, in 16 carries, has racked up 74 yards. 74 yards, 16 carries, and the Buckeyes are back in Spartan territory.
Ohio State trying to blow the Michigan State Spartans out of the middle, having a little success, but they're not blowing out too often. Again in motion, left to right, is Bashnagel, and this time it's a pitch to Archie, and Archie is smothered. On a 3rd down play, he's smothered for no gain. They were waiting for him. Rudzinski, who comes in on short yardage situations.
Griffin was the ball carrier.
made the first hit, and Griffin is getting up a little slow. He was hit pretty hard. The Buckeyes are missing Kurt Schumacher here today, Joe. He usually gets some pretty good shots in clearing the decks. They're measuring, but I believe it's short. Short by about a yard. We'll see whether the Buckeyes will decide to go. Woody talking to George Chomp, and they're going to punt. George Chomp discussing it with Woody, and they're going to punt. And the offensive team doesn't like it worth a darn.
No, they don't.
Wave them off.
They're expressing themselves. The Buckeyes, though, with a 3-point advantage, figuring their defense can hold the Spartans. Skledany now dropping back of his own 40-yard line. The deep man at the 10 for Michigan State.
It is an apparent punt, but Johnson, the fullback, is in as, well, here's the punt. Almost blocked. It's a high spiral that is going out of bounds, I believe. It does go out of bounds inside the 5 at about the 1. A beautiful punt by Skledany. Pins the Michigan State Spartans in on their own 1-yard line. The punt of the afternoon.
So there'll be a lot of second guessing on that particular punt. The offensive team wanted to go for it down at the 48-yard line, but Skledany came up with the toe. And a big one it was. 1st and 10, Michigan State at their own 1-yard line. Michigan State taking over, and Bert, yet another punt in the ball game, and boy, this is a kicking game, isn't it?
At that time, the punt was used more or less as an offensive weapon. Okay, the Spartans set up with Jones and Hurd wide left and right, off the eye of the quarterback keeper, and Baggett squirts all the way out to the 5, possibly the 6. They had him, and he squirted through. A fine block by the big tight end, Mike Cobb. And he moves it for about 5 yards. Second and a long 5. Van DeCree, Tim Fox, along with Cusick, making the tackle. The Buckeyes hoping to pen them in and prevent them from getting out of their own backyard. Again, Jones wide left, Hurd wide right. Baggett gives to the fullback, and he gets out to about the 9.5. It is Levi Jackson, straight ahead. Bruce Elia making first contact. The ball is at about the 9, 3rd and 2. And a big play coming up defensively for Ohio. If they can hold the Spartans, they will force the punt and get good field position. If the Spartans can get the first down, they can work themselves out of their own backyard. A big play coming up. The Buckeyes have 7 men at the line of scrimmage. Does he get it? I don't know. We'll see where the official marks it. It's at about the 11-yard line, and it may be short by a few inches.
Bert, it looks like it's inside the 11. I would say so. About a yard.
It is short, and the punting unit is coming in. Actually, he leaped and dived, but his knee was down, the same as they did with the move a few moments ago, and the official marked it back to about the 11-yard line. And so Duda goes into his own end zone to punt. Colsey standing at about his own 50, at about the Michigan State 48. Here's the pass, and a good boot, sending Colsey to the 50. He's trying to set up a block. He comes back to the 45 and to the 44. And Ohio State in great field position has the ball on the Michigan State 44-yard line, 1st and 10. And so the Buckeyes gained very well on the exchange of kicks, and there's a Michigan State player injured on the field. Time has been called. Here's a break for you.
On that particular punt, Neil Colsey limped off the field. He was a little slow getting up. And Rick Washington for Michigan State was shaken up. Big number 75, but he's coming off under his own power. So both players are okay, and the Buckeyes take over just outside the Michigan State 43-yard line, thanks to a great kick a moment ago by Tom Skledany. The punting duel goes on.
The Buckeyes, hoping to change it now from a punting duel into moving the football, send Bashnagel in motion. And Green goes back to throw. He's being chased now, and he's going to run with the football. He moves to the 40, inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line, where it's a 7-yard pickup, and Otto Smith finally catches him from behind. So the broken play gets 7 yards down to the 37-yard line, where it is a 2nd and a long 3. Green looking to the bench, trying to get his signals from George Chomp, who is standing alongside Woody Hayes. Now sets his team up in a slot right, and Bashnagel is in motion left to right. Green gives to Henson, and Henson is short of the first down, I believe, by about a half a yard, but very close. They may give it to him. His forward motion carried him close to the 33, and he may have the first down. Or are they going to measure? I don't know. They call it a first down. Rokamp, the middle guard, made the tackle, but the Buckeyes have the first down just short of the 33-yard line. They lead 6-3, and there's 11 seconds remaining. They may not be able to get a playoff before the end of the third period. They probably will not get the playoff as the clock winds down. The score at the end of the third quarter is Ohio State 6, Michigan State 3, and now the teams are changing sides. Here is a 60-second change of voice.
Expect them to be as good as they were.
Football team. The score 6-3. Ohio State by 3. And Archie Griffin at the end of three quarters. 17 carries, 74 yards. That is the Griffin record. He needs 27 more yards to ensure yet another 100-yard football game in his career.
When the Buckeyes put the ball in a play, it'll be 1st and 10 from the Michigan State 33-yard line. With the exception of Pete Johnson, who played a few plays at fullback, the Buckeyes have gone with the same backfield of Green, Bashnagel, Griffin, and Henson. They have used three ends on offense. Bartosik spelling Doug France, along with Hazel at split end most of the way, and there has been very few substitutions on the defensive unit. Michigan State has run Rudzinski in on short yardage situations, replacing John Breslin. They have had Bullock in for one or two plays. Fortney has replaced Jones a few times as the wingback, but they have gone all the way with the same team. All right, ready to go from the 33. In motion off the slot is Bashnagel. And the give is to Henson, and Henson up the middle can't go. He gets 2, possibly 2.5, as the whole middle of the Michigan State line is there to meet and greet. Headed up by Greg Schaum, along with one of the McLowrys. It was Terry McLowry. A gain of, we'll give him 3, 2nd and 7 from the 30-yard line. Hazel wide right, Bashnagel is in the slot. Buckeyes coming up over the line. Pete Johnson is in at fullback. In motion is Bashnagel. And Green on the draw gives to Griffin, who goes outside. He's at the 25, the 20, the 15, and down at about the 10-yard line. Archie Griffin held up on the inside, went outside, and beat the wide man, moving the ball all the way to the 10.5-yard line, where it is a first down for the Buckeyes. They mark him down on the 11.
20 yards on that one, Bert.
He now has 94 yards.
18 carries, 94 yards.
The ball on the 11-yard line, and the Buckeyes, hoping to take it on in and get a little breathing room, send Hazel wide left, and Bashnagel is in the left slot. Johnson the fullback, and it is Ray Griffin in for Archie. And Ray gets to about the 8-yard line before being hurled back. Ray Griffin in for Archie to rest Archie for a play or two. They mark it down on about the 8-yard line, where it is a gain of about 3, and Archie comes back in for Ray. 2nd and 7 from the 8-yard line. And now the Buckeyes want to consult with the bench, and they call for a timeout. Timeout on the field. Here's a break for you.
All right, we have Ohio State 2nd and 7 down on the Michigan State 7-yard line. The timeout is over. And number 49 for Michigan State, Terry McLowry. Bert, his uniform showing signs of this rigorous battle down here on Spartan Field. The left leg, just above the knee, is quite bloody. From whom or what, I don't know. But he is really, well, he's got the sign.
When you hear them hitting all the way up here in the press box, you know that there's some action in the pit. The ball is on the 7. The consultation has been between Green, Woody Hayes, and George Chump, the quarterback coach. And as the Bucks come out of the huddle, they go slot left. They're not going into their button shoe. Johnson and Archie Griffin in the running positions off the eye. It is Green going back to throw. He throws, and it is incomplete. Bartosik had it, and it's knocked away in a great play by Hennon. Bartosik had it in his hand. Green had plenty of time to throw, and a fine defensive play. Hunt is the one that broke it up. Number 32 broke it up. Hennon leaped high in the air, but it was actually Hunt's hands that knocked it down. So the Buckeyes have a 3rd and 7 now. They send Hazel very wide. And Green fakes the handoff, goes back to throw, and the ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. And it's a 4th down play. Tim Rocam knocked it down. And Jim Taubert's a little slow getting up. And now the field goal team comes out again. So this time it'll be at a good angle. The ball is at the 8-yard line. It'll be a 25-yard kick. And it'll be towed from the far hash mark. A difficult angle. The ball is towed down. Here's the boot. It's high enough, long enough, and it is no good. So the angle was tough. The Michigan State Spartans held, and with 13 and a half minutes remaining, the Spartan Stadium comes alive as the green and white goes to work from their own 20-yard line, and the Buckeye offensive team has been unable to put the pressure on the Spartans when it was necessary.
You are absolutely right. Michigan State will take over on their own 20-yard line. And the Buckeye defenders will have a tough time of it. 13 minutes, 31 seconds remaining here in the ball game at Spartan Stadium.
I don't know who's on that roof, but I hope they don't come through.
They're working on it, Bert. They're liable to come through any time.
The 78,533 fans are really alive right now. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Buckeye Football Network. WBKO and WBKO FM, Columbus, Ohio.
First period scores, Northwestern 3, Indiana 0.
Northwestern is leading Indiana 3-0 in the first period.
Jones coming wide right. Hurd coming wide left. 6-3 the score, Ohio State leading. 1st and 10 for Michigan State as the ball is given to Levi Jackson, and he doesn't get more than a foot. The whole middle is there. Decree, Bonamici, Jones, Elia. Levi Jackson doesn't get very much. We'll see where they put the ball down. About a half a yard. We'll call it 2nd and 9. The Buckeye defensive unit has been excellent all afternoon, as has the Spartan defensive unit, but the offenses have left a little bit to be desired. And now it's a slot wide to the left. Jackson and Bays in the running positions off the eye. The sprint out by Baggett, and he comes up the middle of 30, fumbles, and it's Ohio State ball. Ohio State ball. He fumbles as Green did. And Steve Luke falls on the football on the 45-yard line, I believe it is, or 43-yard line. And this is a game of blunders, errors and blunders. 1st and 10, Ohio State from the 44-yard line. And the Buckeyes get another chance. It is Henson at fullback. 1st and 10. As Bashnagel goes in motion left to right. And it is Henson plunging right up the middle for lots of real estate, moving it all the way to about the 36-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play. And the Buckeyes may revert to the fullback offense I think Woody Hayes is mad, and he may go back to the fullback up the gut.
I think it might be well to do that. Only you got to get Arch in there a little bit to get him some more yardage, Bert.
A slot left. In motion is Bashnagel, left to right. Green gives to Arch, and Arch gets short yardage, but he may have the first down. We'll see. I think he's short by about a foot. We'll wait and see when they unpile. It was a second down play, and the Michigan State linebackers are cheating just a little bit, coming up tight, and it's short. They mark him back to about the 34-yard line. Talbot and Shawn, the two tackles, making the stop. Here comes Bartosik in, replacing Hazel, and the Bucks will probably go with their button shoe, and here's Rodzinski coming in, replacing Hunt. Full house backfield. And it is Henson not only getting the first down, but moving inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. And that time they had a short count and caught the Michigan State Spartans flat-footed. Terry McClowry made the stop, but not before Henson had moved it to the 28-yard line. Rodzinski also in on the play. Now Hazel comes back in as Bartosik goes out. Hazel going wide left. 6-3 to score. A little more than 11 minutes remaining in this tightly contested football game. In motion is Bashnagel. And it is Archie coming up the middle, and the end comes in from the outside to make the grab along with Greg Shawn. Duda and Shawn in on the play. We'll see where they mark the forward progress. It looks like about the 25-yard line, so it's a gain of 3.5.
Arch needs one more yard to get that 100 mark. He's carried 20 times, Bert.
The ball just short of the 25-yard line. A second and about 6. A long 6. And now it's a slot right. Green using a long count this time. Gives to Bashnagel on the counter, and he's at the 20 and down on the 18. 18-yard line, and he was hit. He was hit hard. A big play to the 18-yard line, where it is very close to the first down. We'll see whether they got it or not. They're going to call for the chains, I believe. Bashnagel on the counter, picked up about 6 yards, and that's about what the Bucks needed. So Ohio State has been denied a touchdown thus far in this football game by a great Michigan State defensive unit.
First down.
It is a first down for Ohio State at the 18-yard line.
That's 15 first downs for the Buckeyes, Bert, this afternoon. Michigan State has collected 9 on the afternoon's work.
Somehow or another, the Buckeyes have lacked the finishing punch this afternoon, something they've had all season long. Hoping now to be able to supply it. Henson and Griffin in the running positions off the slot eye to the right. It is Henson with running room. Shakes off a tackler at the 10, down to the 6-yard line. A great second effort by Henson. He was hit hard at the 14-yard line. He shook off the tackler and moved all the way down to the 6.5-yard line, where it is a first and goal to go. And the big fullback is coming into his own this afternoon.
They haven't used him very much this year, Bert, but this afternoon with Pete Johnson and Champ Ensign, Woody Hayes can be mighty happy. He's got the strong men back there he does have.
Full house backfield. First and goal to go. Green under center. Gives to Griffin, and Griffin goes outside and gets to about the 1. And Griffin is over 100 yards.
Right.
Griffin gets his 100 and moves the Buckeyes within 1 yard of pay dirt. It's second and goal to go. And the Buckeyes are charged up themselves now.
30 has 21 carries, 105 yards, and this is as close as the Buckeyes have been to the Michigan State goal line.
The ball on the 1 yard line. Again, the full house backfield. Green under center. Waiting for the snap. He gives to Henson, and it's a touchdown, Ohio. And they now have a 12-3 lead, and the Buckeyes take it in, finally. And what an emotion-charged crowd the Buckeyes are right now. They've scored so many touchdowns this year, but none have been as gratifying as this one here late in this ball game, Joe.
5:57 gone by in the fourth quarter. 8 plays, and the Buckeyes carry it 44 yards for their only touchdown of the afternoon. It is now 12-3, and Clayman will be out there trying for yet another point.
Baschnagel will hold. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. 13-3 Ohio. 9:03 remaining in the game. Timeout on the field. Time in for you.
As timeout extends itself, the Buckeyes going 44 yards in 8 plays on the fumble, over the fumble that is, by the quarterback, Baggett of Michigan State. So the Buckeyes get one of those fumbles back on that one, and were able to capitalize. Each team has fumbled twice. The Buckeyes have lost it twice. Michigan State has lost it once. Archie Griffin, 105 yards, number 19 consecutive regular season game, number 20 over his record that he has been able to amass better than 100 yards against the opposition. Some kind of ball player, Mr. Griffin.
And quite a run that set up the touchdown. All right, Spadani has the ball teed up. Tyrone Wilson and Mike Imhoff, a freshman, are the deep men for Michigan State. Spadani moving in on the football. Here's the boot, and it's going to sail clear out of the ballpark. Clear out of the ballpark. Almost into the grandstand. So it's a touchback, and there'll be no running that kind back. And Michigan State takes over. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Michigan State has not exactly gone through the air. We would anticipate, however, that they might start putting the ball up. With 9 minutes remaining, they trail by 10 points. Wide left, Hurd. In the slot, Jones. Jackson and Bays are the running backs in the eye. It is a sprint out by Baggett, and this time they clog up the middle as he tries to come up, and it is Cusick and Bonamici, the 2 tackles, who make the hit. Bonamici first, and Bonamici is having himself some kind of ball game. A gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
That's the 22, 2nd and 8.
I think that guy on the PA is
short yardage.
He's blind.
Out of here.
High formation. And it's the draw play to Bays, and Bays doesn't get anywhere. No gain on the play. A great hit by Elia, along with the 2 tackles again. And so it's 3rd. 3rd and 9.
Bert, this is a rugged football game, I tell you. This is about as tough as I've seen in a long, long time.
This reporter is glad he's up here and not down there.
All right.
They are hitting. A possession play coming up, and they go into the double wing. Jones left, Hurd right. As Baggett goes back to throw. He dumps one over the middle, and it's complete. And good for the first down to Levi Jackson. And he gets them out of the hole. A nice play, very well executed, moves it out to about the 37-yard line. And Colsey, who was in on the tackle, was injured again. Here comes Rule into the ball game. Rule will probably go to safety, and Fox to the corner. And so they do. So it's 1st and 10 for the Spartans. The ball on their own 37. A double wing once again. As Baggett goes back to throw, he's looking. He has time, and he hits the release man, who is immediately hit on the play by Plank, but not before a pickup of about 4 or 5. Mike Jones, caught by Plank, but a gain of 5 on the play. Now into the ball game is Brown at offensive tackle, replacing Bruggentheis. 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Ohio State leading 13-3. It's a double wing once again. Baggett gives to the fullback Levi Jackson. He spins off tackles and moves into Buckeye territory for a big first down. 1st and 10 for the Spartans on the Buckeye 47-yard line. And he was hit twice but refused to go down, Joe.
wouldn't come down at all. These Spartans are really primed for the Buckeyes, the number one team in the nation, leading only by 10 points. 13-3 have been able to score only one touchdown. Here they are at the line of scrimmage now.
Hurd wide right, and Jones is in the right slot. Jackson and Bays, the running backs. As Baggett keeps it himself, and he's stopped by Bonamici. After he gets to the line of scrimmage, he may have gained a couple of yards as he squirted out of Bonamici's grasp and was pinned by Brian Thompson. The clock now showing less than 6 minutes. 5 minutes and 52 seconds and running. The ball at the 44-yard line of Ohio State. The Buckeyes lead 13-3, but they know they've been in a battle, and it isn't over. Not by a long shot. A slot right. Second down and about 7. Baggett going back to throw, had time, throwing long, and he has a man in the clear for a touchdown. Jones scores a touchdown. Baggett to Jones for touchdown. And suddenly, the ball game gets tighter. And again, they get a man behind the Buckeye linebackers, and of course, the Buckeyes have Colsey out of there, and different men at different positions in the deep secondary, but Jones was wide open at the 12-yard line, and we knew that nobody would come near him if he caught the football. So it's 13-9, and now, with 5.5 minutes remaining, the Spartans call for timeout, and they may decide to go for 2. I don't know. I don't know why they would, but they may decide to do it. So with time called, time in for you.
A 44-yard scoring pass from Baggett to Jones. 7 plays, 80 yards, and the coaches for Michigan State obviously working out the try for 2 points. That's what they're after. The score is now 13-9. They want to make it 13-11 so that if they get another chance for a field goal, they can come out on top as a huge balloon floats overhead. Right over the center of the field practically. It says Eyewitness News, evidently, and Channel 13. 2 points, Bert. What's it going to be?
They're going for the 2-pointer. They send Jones, who just scored on a touchdown pass, wide right. And the tight end is tight left. Sprinting out is Baggett, looking to throw, and it is no good. No good. He caught the pass, but he caught it at the 1-yard line, and it's no good. So it goes for naught, and the score remains 13-9 as he caught the ball and fell at the 2-yard line. And he raised his arm as though he had done something great, not realizing that he was not in the end zone.
No, he thought he was in there, all right. He got up and he looked around in consternation and didn't believe what he saw. And he was shy about 4 or 5 yards as he caught the ball. The Buckeyes will get the kickoff now, and they are marching northward, remember, away from the sun. Michigan State kicking from the 40-yard line. 13-9. Michigan State has been able to score. Ohio State 5 minutes 30 seconds to lengthen their score.
Do you suppose Michigan State might go for the onside? I'm wondering whether they might go for an onsider.
They just might.
The Buckeyes have Bashnagel in the front line, along with Bartosic and a few other pretty good ball handlers.
Willis is coming up
and now
front
Willis
also.
is coming up front, checking out to see what they want him to do.
He checked with Dick Mack.
And now Willis is checking with the bench as to where they want him to play this thing. And now the football comes out. Bashnagel is up front in case there's an onside attempt. And at the 15-yard line are Griffin and Willis. So if the ball sails over their heads, they may just let it roll into the end zone. We'll see what the strategy will be. Here's the kick, and it's a short one coming down to Griffin at the 17-yard line. Griffin getting to the 30, and down he goes at the 30. So the Buckeyes have the Ball, 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line, and a key series coming up. They have to be able to maintain the football long enough to eat up the clock. 5:27 remaining. They probably will remain on the ground, and Michigan State will set up with their linebackers cheating, moving in, knowing the Buckeyes will try to stay on the ground. They could go to the air, but the strategy would seem to dictate staying on the ground. Slot right, Henson and Griffin are the running backs in the I. It is Henson coming up the middle, ducking and dodging, and moves out to about the 37-yard line. A gain on the play of 7 yards. The Buckeyes have used the fullback quite extensively here in the second half, and quite effectively, we might add. 5 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the football game. Ohio State leading 13-9. Again, it's a slot right. Henson and Griffin are the running backs. This time it is Bashnagel sweeping and running into a crowd. No gain. They were ready for the counter play, and Michigan State playing great defense. Otto Smith making first contact, and he is some kind of an end. Terry McLaury also in on it. The ball at the 37, and a possession play coming up for Ohio State. And the momentum could change on this play, Joe.
This is a big one.
3rd and 3. In motion is Bashnagel. Green gives to Henson, and Henson doesn't get it. He moves it out to about the 39, where it's short by 1. And the Buckeyes are forced to punt. The Buckeyes will be punting with a slight wind at their back. 3 minutes and 54 seconds as the Michigan State team came to play this afternoon, and they're giving the Buckeyes what for. Hannon along with Graves are the deep men. Spadani will be kicking from his own 25. Here's the boot, and he gets a good long high spiral, driving him back to the 10-yard line. He's trying to get away, and he's hit and brought down by Bashnagel on the 11. And Ray Griffin and Bashnagel get him back on about the 11 or 12-yard line. 3.5 minutes remaining in the game. And the suddenly alive Spartans, who are trailing 13-3, now trail 13-9. A field goal will not help them. They have to go in for the touchdown. 3.5 minutes remaining. Slot left. The running backs are Jackson and Bays. It is Jackson loose at the 40. He may go all the way. Jimmy Fox has a shot on him and misses him. He's going for a touchdown. Levi Jackson goes all the way for a touchdown. And the Spartans lead it 15-13. And the fans are out on the field. He went 88 yards. 88 yards for a touchdown. And this is ridiculous. 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. Joe, I don't even want to talk. Just let them roar.
Well, we got the crowd down there. The crowd is all over the field. They came barreling out of the stands. One play, 88 yards, the longest of the year against the Buckeyes. Jackson pulled it off. He hit into the center of the line, stepped slightly to his left, cut back, and then for the sidelines, he went 88 yards. And coming out of there with the ball, one of his teammates hands it over to Jackson. Jackson, with 3 minutes, 17 seconds, has put Michigan State out in front of the ball game, 15-13. Let's see if they go for 2 here. 15-13, Michigan State has electrified the crowd. The Buckeyes with only 1 touchdown. And there's a Spartan booster right at midfield in his white overalls, his green jersey, spurring the fans on, and they're up to the line of scrimmage, Bert.
Tyrone Willingham will hold, and Hans Nielsen will attempt the conversion. Here's the kick. It's up, and it's good. And it's a 16-13 game, and the Spartans, in the space of 2 minutes, have scored points and lead 16-13. Timeout on the field. Time in for you.
That is the second longest yardage play from scrimmage by Michigan State in their history. 88 yards. One play, 88 yards, and they take the lead. 16-13, the Buckeyes have their deep man.
Lenny Willis, Dashnagel, and Griffin are the deep men. Hans Nielsen will be kicking off. 16-13, Michigan State. Here's the kick, a knuckleballer again that is bouncing, and they can't find a handle on it. Griffin has it. He goes wide at the 20, 25, 30, and down just before he gets to the 30. About the 29.5-yard line, 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Mike Imhoff made the tackle. And had Imhoff not made the tackle, Griffin might have been able to spring one. So the Buckeyes now trailing by 3. The ball on the 29-yard line, and we'll see what the Buckeyes are made of in coming from behind. It's a slot left. Michigan State sticking to their 52 defense. Green going back to throw, looking, has time. Is it intercepted or not? It is intercepted. It is intercepted. No, it is ruled no good. One man who was there said no good. It was trapped. It was trapped. And the Michigan State fans are all over the field at every play.
McClary thought he had that one and is still arguing, and the fans thought so too. And Woody Hayes is out there, and evidently there was some indication of some sort of illegal motion. But Michigan State would have taken the ball, of course, had they intercepted, but an official right on top of it had ruled that it was incomplete. Evidently it hit the turf.
I think the people here better start using some crowd control because the fans are coming out on the field after every play. Second and 10, the ball on the, and now they're throwing things out on the field. The ball on the 29-yard line. Have people throwing yellow balls out on the field now. 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the ball game. Michigan State leading. Bashnagel is in motion. As Green gives to Griffin on the draw. He's at the 40. He's at the 45. He's cutting wide and going at the 50. He's at the 45. Cutting again at the 40. And he's on Michigan State's 40-yard line. A beautiful run by Archie Griffin. And suddenly the Buckeyes are challenging again. He got a 31-yard run to the Michigan State 40-yard line. And with 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining, the Buckeyes have the ball first and 10 on the Michigan State 40-yard line. And these final few minutes of this ball game are something else. Hazel going wide to the right. Bashnagel is in the right slot. Henson and Griffin are the running backs. Griffin giving to Henson, and Henson getting only a few up the middle, and the Buckeyes have used 2 of their timeouts, I believe, and the clock winds down at 2:22 and running, and the ball is at the 37-yard line. Out of the huddle they come, the Buckeyes now fighting the clock, trailing by 3 points. Green sets up a slot right. He fakes the handoff, goes back to throw. And now he's ducking and dodging, being chased. Decides to run it out of bounds, and he gets out of bounds inside the 35-yard line at about the 32, stopping the clock with just less than 2 minutes. And he may be just short of the first down by a couple. He's 2 yards short of the first down, and now coming into the Michigan State lineup is Tom Standall. So 1:59 remaining. It's a 3rd down coming as Doug France comes back into the ball game. Out comes Hazel. It's 3rd and about 2. In comes Rosinski. And out comes Hunt. The Buckeyes setting up in a full house backfield. Green keeping the ball, looking to throw, and decides to run with it. He's at the 30, he's at the 25, he's at the 23-yard line, and he gets the first down. 1:49 remaining, and the clock stops at 1:47 as the Buckeyes get the first down at the 23-yard line. They trail 16-13, and the clock will start running as soon as the first down marker is set, and the clock is running. 1:44, slot right, 1st and 10 from the 23. The Buckeyes moving well at this stage. Green rolling out to his right, looking like he wants to throw. Overthrows his man, Bartosik. He had him in the clear. And the clock stops with 1:31. 2nd and 10. Bartosik was wide open.
2nd and 10 from the 23. Dr. 276.
The ball is at the 23-yard line. They are conceivably within field goal range in case it gets down to a 4th down situation. We wonder whether Woody Hayes will go for the tie if it winds down to that. It is a slot left against the 5-2. In motion is Bashnagel. Green going back to throw, looking, throws, and it is complete. And wrestled out of bounds. Where did they mark him out?
14.
At about the 14-yard line. It is short of the first down by about 1. Oh, where? Did they mark it on the 14, or the officials seem to have some trouble? Yes, it is the 14-yard line. So it is a 3rd and 1 situation, 1:20 remaining. And they're going into the full house backfield to get the first down. 1:18 remaining. 1:14 remaining. And the clock is moving. It is Henson getting the first down at the 10-yard line, and that will stop the clock at 1:06. And the Buckeyes now have the ball on the 11-yard line as Hazel comes back in and Hunt replaces Rodzinski. The ball on the 11. And this is a wild second half.
It is, and it's getting longer. And 56 seconds on the clock with the Bucks at the line.
53 seconds now, and the clock is running. And it's a draw play to Griffin, and Griffin gets to the 6. 46 seconds. I believe the Buckeyes have one timeout. I don't know. And the Bucks call for time now. The ball is at the 6-yard line. 40 seconds remaining. A second down coming up, and with timeout on the field, here's the break for you.
The final seconds, 40 of them, and the Buckeyes have the ball at the Michigan State 6-yard line. They're eager. They're trailing 16-13. A valiant group of Spartans battling it out with the nation's #1 team as the Bucks come up to their regular T offensive formation.
A tight T with the 2 tight ends, France and Bartosik. Griffin, Henson, and Bashnagel are the running backs. It is Henson forging his way forward to about the 1-yard line. And the clock running at 32, 31. And are they going to let these Michigan... Now they're calling time because they may have a first down. They may have a first down, and they're going to call for a measurement with 29 seconds remaining. Timeout for a measurement. And Henson raises his arm up and says, "Let's go." That was a second down play. It is a 1st and goal to go.
That's 20 first downs this afternoon for the Buckeyes.
And the Buckeyes, with 29 seconds remaining, trailing by 3 points, have proved their mettle up to now. Now they have to take it in. This is the key moment. 20 seconds and running. He didn't get in, I don't believe. 12 seconds, 11, 10, and counting. 7 seconds. And are they going to give him a chance to get a playoff? They didn't give him a chance to get the playoff. Are the officials going to let that go? Are they going to call it off or not? There's no fans around the field, but there's got to be a play. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The officials and this crowd.
Well, Bert, I don't know what to
This is the
tell you.
most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life. There is
Wait a minute.
thousands of people here.
They may have called it a touchdown.
They're calling it a touchdown.
A touchdown.
They're calling it a touchdown. They're calling it a touchdown. These idiot fans, they're calling it a touchdown for Ohio State, and they better get these fools off the field.
Woody Hayes, I've got the glasses on him, and Woody and the Buckeyes are deep down in there. We have not heard anything on the press box PA system as to the outcome yet. The Buckeyes may have scored a touchdown.
This is a wild finish.
The wildest I've ever seen. The crowd is being ushered back to the stands. The Spartan players are coming back on the field. It has not been chalked up on the scoreboard, but the Buckeye squad started all of a sudden to jump up and down. It may be a repeat on the play because of the crowd on the field. I don't know just what the final decision will be, Bert.
I don't know whether it's a touchdown or they have seconds on the clock in which to run a play, because the Spartans just laid around and the official has a right to stop the clock.
Right.
Unless the team gets ready to play. And I kid you not, this is a dangerous situation. Those of you who are fans back in Columbus, this business of going out on the field before a ball game is over is ridiculous.
All right, the Buckeye squad is down. Well, the discussion has gone on, and evidently the Spartans have been declared the winner. Now they reversed it again. Woody Hayes moving into his squad. The crowd again is surging to the north end of the field. They cleared them off a moment ago. But the Spartans now evidently have been declared the winner. The officials deciding the issue. They practically had the field cleared off. It looked like the Buckeyes would have another chance, but now they are leaving the field. And Michigan State has been declared the winner.
Joe, earlier in this ball game, I said that useless timeout, which the Buckeyes took because they couldn't get their signals,
Right.
it cost them the football game. I told you then they might pay for it, and they paid dearly. They paid with the loss of a football game by taking a timeout when they didn't need it. And what I don't understand is how, when a team has about 15 seconds on the clock, or 17 seconds, how the officials, because the crowd is on the field, can decide a football game without giving them a chance to put the ball in the play.
Fred Stabley has just announced on the PA system that there would be no announcement as to the outcome of the game until the commissioner got back in the press box. And we could find out officially, to quote him, what the heck went on out there.
All right, Joe.
Decision on the outcome of the game until the Big Ten commissioner comes to the press box.
Wayne Duke, the commissioner, is here at the ball game. As a matter of fact, we rode up in the press box with him, chatted with him amiably, and now he has one of those decisions to make. The one thing we do not understand is why the officials could not rule that due to the fans on the field, the clock had to be stopped. That is a simple enough decision to make, that in order to get a play started, you have to have a clear field. The Michigan State players, naturally, tried to stall. The official has a right to force them to get on the line of scrimmage or to stop the clock. The ball was nosed on the end zone line. It needed inches, and all they needed was one play. And so we have still thousands and thousands of fans on the field. Both teams have gone to the locker room, and you know, with 5 minutes remaining, the fans were on the field. with 3 minutes remaining, they were on the field. When the extra point was being kicked, an idiot in overalls was standing on the 50-yard line, proclaiming himself, and this is not what should be called crowd control by the wildest stretch. So we'll just have to wait and see how this idiocy will be determined. Joe?
Go ahead, Bert, just a minute.
Both teams have retired to the dressing rooms. However, we see that the trainers are coming out. The fans are going back to the stands from whence they came. I don't think anybody has left Spartan Stadium.
Bert, while Commissioner Wayne Duke is getting back to the press box, and before we get the final announcement of the outcome, it still shows 16-13 on the board. The Buckeyes, of course, didn't have a chance for that last play. We'll have to get his ruling. But I think we might have a word from our sponsor while we get this official word, so stay tuned.
All right, during this break, it's time in for you.
We're back at Spartan Stadium, where we still have to hear from the commissioner of the Big Ten on the outcome of the ball game. Obviously, well, it must be a final score of 16-13, but it's going to be interesting to find out just what Wayne Duke has to say about the last, 15, 20 seconds of this game. We have the unofficial, the quick stats, Bert. Ohio State had 19 first downs, Michigan State 12. In number of rushes and yardage, the Buckeyes rushed the ball 63 times for 333 yards. Michigan State, 43 rushes for 230 yards. The Buckeyes, in passing, collected 44 yards. Michigan State collected 98 yards. In return yardage, that is on punts and kickoffs, each team had 26 yards. In passing, Ohio State passed 11 times. They completed 3, and they had 1 intercepted. Michigan State passed 13 times, and they had 5 completions, no interceptions. In punting, Michigan State punted 7 times for a 38.7 average. Ohio State punted 4 times for a 48.8 average. And the big fumbles, the Buckeyes fumbled twice and lost them both. Michigan State fumbled twice, lost 1. The Buckeyes were penalized once for 5 yards. Michigan State was penalized twice for a total of 10 yards. Those are the quick stats. We're still awaiting the final word from the Big Ten commissioner as to the outcome of the ball game. The Buckeyes were piled up with a first down and obviously wanted to go in, and as Bert pointed out, they earlier had called timeout, and that proved a costly call because they had no more timeouts left, and the clock was running out when they made the first down. And so Michigan State pulls it off with a brilliant 88-yard touchdown run by Levi Jackson as they had the ball 1st and 10 on the 12-yard line. That was after the Buckeyes had made it a 13-9 ball game. Jackson ripped off 88 yards following a Buckeye possession when they had it 1st and 10 on their own 30. And they came up short on the try on 3rd down. They had 3rd down and 3 to go, were able to get only 2. And so with 4th and 1, they kicked. Michigan State got it 1st and 10 on the 12. And Jackson's historical 88-yard run pulled it off. But the Buckeyes looked like they were going in. They took it 1st and 10 on their 29. And a brilliant run by Archie Griffin set the Buckeyes up with a 1st and 10 on the 40. They marched it down with a 1st and goal at the 1, and the clock ran out on them. And so the Buckeyes were unable to get that final score. With a couple of timeouts, obviously, they very likely could have gone in for the touchdown, which would have won the ball game at least by 19-16, possibly 20-16. The goalpost at the south end of the field here at Spartan Stadium has been removed. And the one at the north end of the stadium is in rather poor condition, having been bent. They are metallic. And again, we want to stay here to find what the final word from Commissioner Wayne Duke is relative to the ball game. It looked like it was all over. The crowd gathered around the Spartans and Buckeyes at the northern end of the field. There was a discussion. And amid that discussion, the Buckeyes all of a sudden started jumping up and down, which would have seemed to indicate they would get a respite, a chance to go for another touchdown. But after a little further discussion, suddenly the two teams started moving toward the locker room, and there has been no further action. We are still waiting for word from the PA system.
One of the Michigan State players has returned to the field. Greg Shum, the defensive tackle who played such a great ball game, is out on the field looking up toward the press box. And we haven't seen any other players or coaches return from the locker room. I believe Stoltz is coming out now with one of his assistant coaches.
Yeah, that's either.
Denny Stoltz standing at about the 5-yard line. And the milling fans are still all over the playing field. They have torn down both goalposts, as Joe has told you. And there seems to be just the most ridiculous situation on a football gridiron that these eyes have witnessed. The one comment that we can make about the winding down of the clock, we recall it being 15 seconds when they got their first down. And the Michigan State players refused to get back to the line of scrimmage. An official has to give the team with the football, even if they don't have a timeout left, an opportunity to put it into play, or players can just loll around forever. They only get 25 seconds to put it into play altogether. And if 15 seconds are consumed, we don't know. Actually, one advantage that they may have here today is that those of you who are listening on radio probably know that the game is being televised. They probably have had instant replay of both the final Henson plunge and the manner in which the scoreboard clock was run after it was determined that he had not scored the touchdown. But there seems to be an awful long time between the end of the ball game and now to determine who the victor is. But still, as Joe said, the scoreboard shows Michigan State 16, Ohio State 13, for what has to be considered the upset of the year. And now we have some sit-in crowds at the 50-yard line, and now they are drawing more of their numbers, and they're saying we're number one.
Our associate here in the box, Bert, Chick Yardley, tells us that he was down in the replay room, and they ran the play over and over about a half a dozen times, and it would seem that the clock did run out. But of course, it's obvious it is whether or not the Buckeyes had the opportunity to get another play underway with 15 seconds. Of course, as you pointed out, they had 25 seconds to go, and or at least to get the ball underway, the play underway. So that may have been the 15 seconds. The referees evidently figuring that the Bucs were unable to get it in action, and that big timeout again, Bert, was really something it just cost, really, the Buckeyes a football game. But in deference to the Bucks, we've got a long, long skein of victories. The last one they lost was here at Michigan State 2 years ago. And I guess in any athletic endeavor, most any team is entitled to a bad ball game, I think is the popular phrase for it. And the Bucks had one here today. They also ran into a homecoming crowd of Spartans that were just about keyed as high as you can possibly get a team and a crowd keyed, and they reacted and responded, and they evidently won a ball game 16-13. And we still have heard nothing. No late word from Wayne Duke. We're going to stick around, I would presume, Bert, to find out what he says.
I guess we have to. Yeah. We now have a giant sit-in on the field of some 4,000 or 5,000 people, we would judge. Looks like the student body is out there, and I guess to clear it, we'll have to go student body right and student body left.
Well, this new AstroTurf here at Michigan State's Spartan Field is a shambles, I'll say that, what with all the debris, the rather poor-looking goal posts, the uprights on the one to the south, both have been ripped off. They've got one of them off of the north goal post, and it's bent over in a rather odd-looking fashion for a football field. The Buckeye band is playing. Nobody seems to be leaving, Bert. They're all sticking around.
Well, with the public address announcer telling that the outcome of the game is still in doubt, they're staying both to find out whether the victory is indeed a victory, and then, when finally declared, to relish it some more. There is no need to pull goalposts down because they are down. And the funny thing is, if they were to show that there was some time on the clock and that the officials had erred, and Woody Hayes were to decide that he wanted a tie and wanted to go for a field goal, they have no goalposts to kick it.
Not at all. Not at all. Bert, I might recap the scoring. It was rather scarce. The Buckeyes, of course, kicked off to Michigan State. They had to give up the ball with a 4th and 3 on the 49. And on that kick, their punter suffered a slight concussion. He had to leave. And the Buckeyes took it with a 1st and 10 on the Michigan 40-yard line. They marched it down to a 4th and 2 on the 5. And Cleveland kicked a 22-yard field goal. Then there were several areas. At the end of the first quarter, it was Ohio 3, Michigan State nothing. Back and forth they went. And then, at the end of the first half, Michigan State had it with a 1st and 10 on the 46. They marched it to a 1st and 10 on the 22 with 7 seconds. And a guy named Nielsen came in and kicked a 39-yard field goal to tie it up at halftime, 3 and 3. That was all the scoring of the first half, and things began to look very ominous. And the Buckeyes were unable to square it around. Just heard an announcement from the PA booth here. He says we're holding off final stats until we know the outcome of whatever is pending. So,
Joe, while you're doing that, one of the things we might say, they're consistently talking about what a home field advantage means. If ever I have seen what a home field advantage means, it was proved here today.
It was indeed. But to get the scoring underway, Ohio took the second half kickoff from their own 18-yard line, and they marched it to a 4th and goal at the 3. Then they kicked a field goal, 20-yard field goal, with 8:14 remaining in the third quarter. They were ahead by a score of 6-3. Michigan State had the punt on their next possession, as did Ohio State, with Skladany kicking out of bounds on the 1-yard line. That also was a big play because Ohio State had it with a 4th and 1 at their own 48-yard line. And Woody Hayes and his coaches disdaining the try for the yard. Michigan State had done it earlier and succeeded. They went for the punt, And Skladany put it out of bounds on the 1. Another punt by Michigan State, and Ohio had it back as the third quarter closed. 6-3 was the score. Then, with a 1st and 10 on the Michigan 43, Ohio State marched it to a 4th and 7 on the 8, and Cleveland tried another field goal. This one a 25-yarder, faded off to the right. This game may not be over.
Steve Snap.
This game may not be over.
Steve Snap, the publicity man for the Ohio State Athletic Department, has just come to our booth to advise us that Wayne Duke has looked at the instant replay. He is now in the dressing room with the officials, and the instant replay seems to have indicated very definitely that the head linesman signaled a touchdown for Ohio State on the last play of the game. However, no move was made by Gene Calhoun, who has to signal a touchdown after the head linesman indicates that the runner has crossed the plane of the goal line. And so that's where we are at the moment. And the ball game is over 20 minutes. Steve, come in here for just a moment. Was there any indication from anybody as to whether or not they were going to make the decision in the dressing room, or just what are they going to come back up to the press box, or just what?
Well, when the confusion first began, and that would be on the final play of the game, where it appeared as though an Ohio State back, and I think that was Brian Bashnagel, scooped up a loose ball and went into the end zone for a touchdown, and that's when the head linesman did signal, yes, Ohio State had scored. Wayne Duke said he was going down to the dressing room to confer with the officials. He told the people in the Michigan State press box, do not announce the final score until I come back with some kind of a reading. Now, there is a possibility that there were offsetting penalties on the last play. The instant replay shows that Michigan State was probably offsides, and Ohio State may have had a man in motion. Well, if that's the case, the game cannot end on a penalty, so we'll bring both teams out and run the play again. But right now, no one seems to know just what's happening, and we are waiting for some type of an edict from Wayne Duke.
Steve, one further question along those lines. It is on the play that was run after the Henson dash, when they got a play in action, and seemingly there was a fumble and a ball bounced crazily into the southeast corner. That's where Bashnagel is supposed to have picked it up and scored the touchdown. Is that right?
That's right. That would be what would be the go-ahead and winning touchdown for Ohio State, if indeed it does count. And that's what Wayne Duke hopes to find out.
It's going to be quite a mess if they come out and say there's going to be another play.
I wonder if they have any...
Yes, I'd hate to be in the stands if they come out and make that decision. I'll guarantee you that.
Thank you very much, Steve Snap.
Steve doing his usual fine job in keeping us posted on the latest activities. Steve, of course, is the assistant to Marv Holman of Ohio State, and we're still waiting. Just a few moments ago, while Steve was talking to you, Fred Stabley, the sports information director for Michigan State, came on the PA system and asked if there was an officer in the press box. And what I'm thinking, Bert, if this thing goes the other way and Ohio State has declared the winner, I want to know if they got beds in the press box, because, man, I don't want to go down there. I tell you that right now.
I may sleep in this booth tonight, Joe,
Right.
but it begins to look like we're probably going past cocktail hour and maybe dinner hour while we await this momentous decision.
Well, it is a momentous one at that. Wayne Duke, the man of the moment, and Wayne, shortly after taking over in the Big Ten, oddly enough, had yet another big decision to make, and that was relative to basketball on that big debacle they had out in Minnesota a couple of years or so ago. And so Mr. Duke, well, let's see. I noticed that someone is lined up or coming this way, it seems. We should, I guess, be having an announcement as to the final outcome of the ball game. very shortly. And it is 16-13 on the scoreboard still. But Wayne Duke, as Steve Snap has said, do not announce a final score until you hear from me. And that is what they were talking about when they were talking about whatever is pending.
Joe, while we're waiting, why don't we take about 60 seconds for a commercial and a little rest for your tired and my tired voices.
All right. We're back at Spartan Stadium. And we are still waiting for the final announcement. Looking down on the field, I see signs. One huge sign says, Woody won't win number 201 here. Another sign says first Nixon, then Foreman, now Ohio State. There are signs all over the field, primarily representing Michigan State. And we still have not heard from Commissioner Wayne Duke as to the outcome of this wild and woolly football game. Michigan State, of course, pulling two big plays in the final quarter. They got it with a 1st and 10 on the Michigan 20 after Henson had gone over with 9 minutes, 3 seconds left, and Ohio State led 13-3. Michigan State put up a valiant effort. You really got to give them credit. They came to play the number 1 team. They went from their own 20 in 7 plays, 80 yards, capped by a Baggett to Jones pass for 44 yards and their first touchdown. They went for 2 points, but it was no good. The receiver caught the ball, but he was about 3 or 4 yards from the goal line. Ohio State then came came back. That incidentally made it 13-9. The Buckeyes had a 1st and 10 on the 30. They were short of the first down by a yard. They kicked, and Michigan State had it 1st and 10 on their own 12. And then a guy named Levi Jackson cut through the center of the line and broke it wide open with an 88-yard touchdown run, the second longest run from scrimmage for Michigan State in their history, and that was 16-13. The Buckeyes proving their mettle, though, roared right back. With a 1st and 10 on their 29 following the kickoff, they marched it down to a 2nd and 5 on the 6, and into the center of the line. Henson made it 1st and goal on the 1. The clock ran out. The melee broke loose. It is unbelievable. The wind-up to this ball game, and we still don't know what the final outcome is to be. They've had replays after replays observed by the officials and by, indeed, the Big Ten commissioner, and I guess he's in the throes of making some sort of decision, Bert, right now.
Joe, I think one of the most amusing things to watch is crowd behavior. They go from one type of action to another. Now they're rather quiet and just milling around, and the only thing that excites them is when the band strikes up a familiar tune. Earlier, they were full of lots of antics, tearing down goalposts, saying, "We are number 1," and signs were being held up everywhere. Now all the signs have come down, and the people are getting tired. The music is now a slower type thing with alma mater, and there's crowds gathered around one area in the northwest corner of the stadium, where I presume they're hoping to get the announcement. We've seen nobody coming from the ramp, where the locker rooms and training rooms are, where we would anticipate that Wayne Duke would finally make his exit and come to the press box. The big crowd in this corner is surrounding one of the television announcers, who is decked out in his resplendent yellow jacket with his earphones on, and they're hoping that he will have word for them. But to recap, those of you who may have tuned in late, the ball game ended in the final seconds with Green fumbling in the final seconds of play with the ball on the 1 foot mark. The ball bounced crazily. The word has come out that there's a possibility that Baschnagel had taken it into the end zone. And now the Michigan State fans are cheering, looking up to the press box, and hoping to get a sign from the press box, but none as yet. We have had no word.
In just a moment, Bert, the commissioner will be back in the press box, and we'll have details of his decision as soon as he arrives. Whatever the decision may be, it's a tremendous one. Boy, how'd you like to have on his boots this afternoon, Bert? Commissioner Wayne Duke having to make a decision as to the outcome of this ball game with still, literally, thousands and thousands of Buckeye and Spartan fans still here.
I'm glad it is he and not I.
Right. Well, he'll make the announcement here on the PA system, and we will relay it to you just as we hear it as soon as Wayne Duke gets back to the press box.
One of the rather interesting and personal sidelights.
Excuse me, Fred Stabley has just said that television has announced the final as 16-13. In other words, a loss for the Buckeyes, their first since the last time they were here at Spartan Stadium.
I think, however, we ought to wait and determine, hear what the determination of that final decision was,
right.
How it was determined, and just what that final few seconds, how it was ruled. Because we did not see any flags. Of course, you couldn't have seen anything with all of the fans on the field. And the fans are still waiting now. The television camera is trained on the thousands of fans on the field. But if television announced it, I presume that they were given some information from Wayne Duke. However, we'll wait for an official word here in our booth. We started to say as a personal note, Joe, we came up in the press box elevator just before the ball game with Wayne Duke, chatted with him, and one of the lines that was said was, "Are you getting ready for the 1-2 weeks from now?" And he kind of smiled and said yes. Little did either of us know.
Well, the Buckeyes, as we said, have been a great football team. There's no doubt about that. They lose today, and if Michigan keeps on winning, well, who knows about the Roses? That'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. Meantime, there's Iowa next week. And, Bert, we might mention that fact. We'll be on the air direct from Iowa City next Saturday afternoon. I presume somewhere around 2 or 2:30, 2:15. That'll be our broadcast time. The Buckeyes going against the Hawkeyes. And the Buckeyes, as we said, a great football team. And most any team in any sport has an off day. And I think really, not taking anything away from the Spartans, this was not the Buckeyes' day in any shape, form, or fashion. They just couldn't seem to get it together. Only on rare occasions was the sensational, the brilliant Archie Griffin able to break through, and the passing game was not there. Michigan State was really ready. Really ready.
The defensive unit of Michigan State closed off some of the avenues. Woody decided to go with his fullback because they were keying on Green and Griffin. He may have decided a bit late because there were several times when fullback blasts with 3rd and 1 situations seemed to have been the order of the day, and Corny Green was caught for for less than the necessary yardage, and the Buckeyes were forced to punt. This happened at least 3 times during the ball game, and it seemed to be that Corny Green was calling audibles on those plays when the Buckeyes were in a full house backfield, and the obvious seemed to have been Henson or Johnson, fullback off tackle, right or left. However, Corny Green kept the football on a few occasions and was caught. In the early stages of the 4th period, when the Buckeyes were marching, they used a timeout because of the fact that Corny seemed to be unable to get a signal from the bench as to what play or what series of plays to call, and that was the timeout called with about 10 minutes remaining in the ball game, which cost the Buckeyes dearly because had they been able to call a timeout with a ball on the 1-inch line and 15 seconds remaining, out but what Henson could have taken it on in, or somebody could have taken the ball on in. But those are the ifs and the ands and the buts, and none of them count because if and when Wayne Duke makes his announcement that Michigan State is the victor, 16-13, that will end the Buckeye streak and end the conjecture of whether or not this is one of the greatest collegiate football teams and all of the other conjectures which were hoving into view as the Buckeyes demolished all of the opposition in their first 8 ball games of the season. However, it might be pointed out that Michigan State, if they are the victors, are 4-1-1 in the conference. If Michigan wins as expected against Illinois, then the Buckeyes could still bump Michigan 2 weeks from now if they take care of Iowa next week, and then the conference race would be tied with Michigan State, and with Michigan State having a tie on their record, and Ohio State and Michigan 1 loss. So those are the ifs with regard to the Big Ten race and the possible Rose Bowl. And if you'll recall, you and I left Ann Arbor last year in November thinking that the Buckeyes had blown their chances for the Rose Bowl with that 10-10 tie, and the Buckeyes went on to get the nod and then go out and blast Southern Cal out of the Rose Bowl. So strange things happen, and we'll just wait and see.
Well, this is a game of inches, as everyone has heard and said over the years. And a few of those 3rd and 1 situations or short yardage, maybe a smaller, maybe a go-for-it idea instead of having a punt. And incidentally, the Buckeyes did an excellent job in punting today. They kicked only 4 times, and one of them, of course, was on a 4th and about 1. May have been a little less. And that was when Skladany put the ball out of bounds on the 1-yard line. But Ohio State punted 4 times. They averaged almost 49 yards per punt. Michigan State punted 7 times and averaged 38.7 yards per punt. And Michigan State tried another punt even, but their kicker in that time was Bernie, and he, trying to recover a low pass, fumbled the ball and was clobbered by a host of Buckeyes, and that's what led to the Buckeyes' first field goal. So it's simply a matter of Michigan State scoring 2 touchdowns. Ohio State was able to score only 1. So the final score, it would seem, would be 16-13, at least. That was indicated a little bit ago.
Joe, I thought it might be wise to tell the fans a little bit about Levi Jackson, whose 88-yard run put the points on the scoreboard for the Michigan Staters. He was a letter winner as a fullback when he was a freshman. He figured prominently in the offensive backfield picture in this, his 2nd year. Last year, he saw 88 minutes of action, rushed the ball 11 times for 38 yards. He was playing behind the starter, Clarence Bullock, who is one of the co-captains this year. Young Jackson is from Detroit. He's 5'11", 205. Not great speed, but he certainly turned on the afterburners and jetted into the end zone. He only had one man to beat, Tim Fox, who seemed to have the angle on him, but as we said, he turned on the afterburner and beat Jackson at about the 35-yard line, and then he was on his own, just going along the west sideline stripe without stepping out of bounds and going into the end zone. He's from Kettering High, earned All-State and All-America honors as a high school player. As a senior in high school, he averaged 9.6 yards per carry, and incidentally, his teammate there was Ken Jones. He majors in social science. And Levi Jackson, if the score stands up, and we still don't have the official word, will certainly be a hero in these parts after that tremendous effort this afternoon.
Well, we're still waiting for Commissioner Wayne Duke. We have been promised that as soon as he returns, he will have some announcement to make here in the press box. The crowd lingers on, although a lot of them have left. Now, there may be an angle to that, Bert. We can only speculate as to his final decision. Maybe There's a lengthy wait so that the crowd itself will have dispersed. And we're likely not to have a riot as a result. If Mr. Duke makes an announcement that that touchdown counted, with as many fans remaining here, it was a very, very tough, broiling afternoon down on the field. Now, to repeat what Coach Woody Hayes said about the windup on this ball game. According to my players, Bashnagel was in the end zone by 5 yards on the final play of the game. They say there were still 2 seconds on the clock when the ball was snapped. The ball was fumbled by the quarterback on the exchange. Bashnagel picked it up and took it into the end zone. Until the films come out, we won't know who won. The official next to Bashnagel signaled a touchdown. There were 25 seconds left when we ran the play with Henson. The referee should have called a timeout when they laid on the ball and wouldn't let us run a play. They played a great game, and so did we. We moved almost 80 yards with 3 minutes to play. That's pretty good. And asked if he had talked to the officials, he simply said they ran out. That was the quote. That was the quote from Coach Woody Hayes, and Bert Charles and I are standing by for Wayne Duke's official decision.
There seems to be a report emanating from the Michigan State dressing room now, a printed report.
Mr. Duke has just announced that Michigan State won the ball game 16-13. It's all over. He said he will come on for some clarification in just a few moments. Well, that's the official. Here's Mr. Duke. He's trying to provide an explanation relative to the crew chief's clarification of that which transpired at the end of the game.
All purpose that they're used on kickoff returns like Archie Griffin. They're used on kick coverage like offensive star Brian Bashnagel. They just play every department of football. Ray Griffin, the rookie brother of Archie Griffin, also in on the tackle. Skodani now has 51-yard punt average, 2 kicks of over 50. Woody Hayes, the coach now. And Michigan State now must try from its own 12-yard line, 1st and 10. Mike Curtin-Jones to the left. There he goes, and they go ahead. There they go. What a run. 88 yards. And Ohio State is trailing. The #1 team in the country is behind. 15-13, an 88-yard run by the fullback, Levi Jackson. Wow.
I mentioned that he's a 9'8 sprinter, 212 pounds. He looked like a 9'4 sprinter on that touchdown run. What a game. What a game.
There he is, number 40, being congratulated. Let's watch once more.
It's a quick opener by Levi Jackson. He gets by the linebacker. Here he sets sail. He wasn't about to get shot. Watch him turn on this speed. All 212 pounds of him. Number 40, Levi Jackson. 6 points for the Spartans. Now it's 15-13 in favor of Michigan State.
All right, 15-13. We have 3:17 to go, and a great football team like Ohio State can move it any number of yards, so don't go away. The #1 team is trailing 15-13. Here is the try for the extra point from Denmark. Hans Nielsen, who kicked the field goal for Michigan State. The kick is up, and it's good. a field goal by Ohio State would only tie the football game. To win, they've got to score.
Woody would not go for the tie. Woody Hayes will go for the 6 points. Now you're going to have to see Cornelius Green go to. They got plenty of time, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. If they deserve the...
Well, Jim McKay, this ought to bring back reminders to you. So let's hear what you have to say in the warmth of the studio. Jim McKay.
Well, we were sure watching that one, Chris, and this could be a day of big upsets. Let's take a look at a game in the East in which Temple University of Philadelphia is trying to return to the big time to prove that it's all for real. And look at this. Temple, with Steve Joachim, the nation's total yardage leader, is leading Pittsburgh 17-14 in the third period of play. But the lead has been going back and forth, and there is still a long way to go in that one. Temple leading Pitt by 17-14. Georgia and Florida both have a chance still for the Southeastern Conference Championship. But Florida, number 7 ranked in the nation, trails Georgia 9-7. That also in the third period. Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Kentucky leading Vanderbilt. That's another upset, 31-12. Back to you, Chris.
Well, here's the kick by Michigan State. They lead 16-13, 3:17 to go. Archie Griffin has the ball. He's at the 20, 25, and he nearly got away. If you just joined us, Michigan State went ahead on a 1st and 10 from their own 12. The handoff, Baggett to Jackson, 88 yards. The score, they go ahead, and now 87 comes into the lineup for Ohio State. He is Bartosik. So watch.
Chris, I'm glad that ABC made the intelligent decision to televise this game. It has to be the most exciting game we've had all year.
Well, you stick with the first team, you can't go wrong. All right, from near the 30 now. 16-13. Cornelius Green. Intercepted. Oh, it was trapped.
No, it's an interception. No, there's a disagreement among the officials.
Right. One said it was trapped. The other said, well, Gene Calhoun is the referee from Madison, Wisconsin. Let's look at it again.
Now let's decide. I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell McLaurin whether he had it before it hit the ground. I couldn't tell. I don't think the crowd liked the decision, but the one who said it was incomplete had a better angle to watch. There it is again. Watch it. I think he caught it. I don't know. It looked like he caught it. Look.
Terry McLaurin.
Here it is again. 49. Here it is again. I think he caught it.
All right, you're in East Lansing, Spartan Stadium. The home team leading 16-13, 3:05 to go. And needless to say, the Buckeyes players cannot hear green signals, and the Spartan defense is upset.
Let's take another look at it. You judge for yourself. Watch it right here. McLaurin has his hands under it. Looks like he cradled it and caught it. I'm not saying that because I'm a Michigan State coach. I'm saying it because it looks to be true.
Listen, I'm from Purdue, and I think he caught it. All right, Archie Griffin. Look out. Here he goes. That's what I mean about a great team. Superior athletes at every position, and Griffin has ripped one from the 29 to the Michigan State 40.5 with 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Michigan State is in the lead 16-13. A field goal will only give a tie. All right, watch again.
Let's take a look. It's a draw play. Archie Griffin, the great running back that he is, certainly he would make a great Heisman candidate or award recipient. Watch him go. He's just determined to get that ball down to the goal line.
30 yards and a first down. He's now 134 yards on the day. From the 40 of Michigan State, Champ Henson. And now the test of the Spartan defense. Jim Taubert, number 94, and Greg Schaum, number 95. And there's Coach Woody Hayes. Undefeated in 8 games. The last time they were defeated in a regular season game was right here, Duffy, when you coached the Spartans. 19-12, the final score. Now it's 16-13, 2:12 to go. 301 yards on the ground. 2nd and 7. Boy, he's got time to tie his shoes.
There's that elusive Cornelius Green. He was trapped for what the apparent loss, but he ended up gaining 5 yards. I'd like to say, Chris, that the defensive line, Sham and Taubert, the two linebackers, the McLaury twins, the ends, Duda and Smith, and Rowe Kemp, the middle guard, all of these defenders for Michigan State have played a superb game.
All right, now time is a factor. 1:59 to go. Green has thrown 5 times, the last 5 incomplete. He is 2 of 9 for the game. So with a 3rd down and 3 from the 33, watch the Buckeyes. Another 3rd down situation for them. We have 1:59 to go. Michigan State leading 16-13. He gets to the 23, a gain of almost 10. First down, Mike Duda in on the play.
It's almost impossible to contain Cornelius Green. He's just such a great performer. This is a poised Ohio State team, and they've got a little bit of time, 1:47 seconds left.
Another region has joined us on our NCAA regional coverage. The Kentucky Vanderbilt viewers are joining us, and would you believe that Michigan State leads Ohio State 16-13. 1st and 10 at the 23. Ohio State with the ball. Hazel is deep. Overthrown to Bartosik. Ohio State with 18 first downs, 17 of them on the ground, and now it's 2nd down and 10 with 1:31 to go. 2 field goals by Ohio State, 1 by Michigan State, a touchdown by Henson, and then an 88-yard touchdown by Michigan State's Jackson has put the Spartans on top.
Cornelius Green's a fine passer, but he's much more dangerous when he goes back to pass and elects to run with the ball.
All right, 2nd down and 10 with 1:31 to go. They trail by 3. Ohio State, number 1. Hazel gets it inside the 15 of Michigan State. Joe Hunt on a sure tackle, number 32, and there goes Hazel, number 82, back to the huddle. He's from Xenia, Ohio.
Chris, Ohio State has 1:22 seconds and only 1 timeout left.
Now Green has thrown 11 times. He has completed 3. Touchdown came on a dive by Henson, capping a 44-yard march. They got their go-ahead field goal of 19 yards at the end of an 83-yard drive. Bartosik and France are 2 tight ends on 3rd and 1. And Champ Henson gets the job done. First down with 1:06 to go. And the ball is spotted. All right, at the 11-yard line.
This is the mark of a great team when you're facing defeat with 1 minute to go or 2 minutes to go, and you can come moving down the field as this Ohio State team has done.
Remember, they moved from their own 30, trailing by 3. Bashnagle in motion. 1st and 10 from the 11. Griffin bows to the 6. Jim Taubert, 94. There you see Griffin getting up. 53 is Pat McLaury, the other half of the McLaury twins from Dearborn. So with the ball at the 6 now. 2nd down and 5. 40 seconds to go.
That's the last Ohio State timeout. They're going to have to put the ball in the air, I would think, Chris, because a couple of running plays will run out the clock.
All right, if you're wondering about Archie Griffin, he has rushed for over 100 yards in his 19th straight game. He has 138. So what the Buckeyes want is victory to remain number 1 and highlight the showdown later this month against the Michigan Wolverines. So the Spartan fans and all of Michigan have had quite a show out here this afternoon by a rapidly improving Michigan State team with victories over Purdue and Wisconsin in the last 2 weeks. 3 weeks ago, a tie against Illinois. 16-13. Michigan State leading. 40 seconds to go. The ball is at the 6. It is 2nd and 5. Watch. Archie Griffin has scored a touchdown in every game this year. None today. 138 yards, 2nd and 5 from the straight T formation. And Henson is oh so close. Champ Henson, who scored the only Ohio State touchdown. Now the clock is running. Now stopped. 29 seconds. As you look at Coach Woody Hayes, Henson has 92 yards. And the Buckeyes, we have a measurement. Remember, it was 2nd and 5 at the 6. Officials timeout, stopping the clock. The measurement now, the chain being stretched. It is 1st and goal inside the 1. North Carolina State is leading Penn State 12-0. An upset in the making. In the 4th quarter, and we have 24 seconds. 1st and goal for the Buckeyes. They trail by 3. They did not get in. Harold Henson. We have 10 seconds to go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Michigan State has upset Ohio State. What a game, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at the students on the field.
This is unbelievable. What a thrill.
What a goal line stand.
A little bit of confusion on the part of the Buckeyes. And it's a tough loss for them against an improving and fired-up Michigan State team. They have knocked off the #1 team, one of the all-time great teams, by a score of 16-13. It's hard to believe. The last time Ohio State was defeated, it was right here. Now we see the Ohio State players jumping for joy. Do you suppose we'll have a new ruling? It appeared
maybe the game isn't over. Maybe that the scoreboard clock is not official and they have 1 second left.
Gene Calhoun is the referee, an experienced one from Madison, Wisconsin. There was joy in the white and scarlet jerseyed players, but now they're filtering back toward the far sideline. Some of them still elated, so we'll just have to wait and see with all the crowd, and now the fans are moving back, so hold everything. It was 16-13 with no time left on the clock. They did reel off a play as I was counting down the seconds to you. I recall saying 3-2, and then I was watching the play and not the clock. So it appears that
I don't know whether you're confused or not, Chris, but I'm sure confused. I don't know. They didn't have any timeouts left. I don't know what the decisions have decided, the officials have decided. It looks like they're going to give Ohio State another play, but how do they stop the clock?
That's what I'd like to know. Well, Jim Lampley is down on the sidelines, and perhaps he can get a clarification of a bizarre ending to an NCAA game of the week. And now the Michigan State players are going toward the locker room, which means one thing, but not conclusive, because we have not heard from referee Gene Calhoun.
Well,
we're not going to speculate.
This looks like a rerun, doesn't it? It looks like a rerun. It's a replay.
LSU and Alabama can come up with a game half this good, it'll be a great doubleheader on ABC.
These were two fine football teams today, and I can't help but feel a little touch of empathy for Woody Hayes, one of the all-time great coaches. This is a great Ohio State team.
Well, the last time they were defeated was right here, 1972, regular scheduled game. And now the announcement has been made. The Michigan State Spartans have pulled the upset of the year, coming from behind with an 88-yard touchdown run by Levi Jackson, a famous name in football. 16-13 is the final score. Let's take a look at the final moments of this hectic game.
Let's watch the last play of the game. He did not get over. He did not get over.
And here's where we started counting the clock. We were about down to 7 here. And, of course, they were out of timeouts. And Ohio State was hoping to get up there. Here's the counting down of the clock. Now, and you you see the umpire or the head linesman indicating.
I think what it was, you have every man in your team has to be set for a full second before you run a play, and they were still going down. Some of the Ohio State linemen were going down, so it is illegal procedure, and they would have gotten a 5-yard penalty.
Greg Sham of Baltimore. Duffy, if this is official, score, and I assume it is, we have to give him credit because he was there to stop Henson. Greg Sham, number 95, a junior from Baltimore, defensive right tackle. He really raised up and used all his might to stop Henson.
I recruited him out of Baltimore. He comes from a fine family. His dad, Bill, is here for the game, and he's an outstanding player. He was picked the outstanding player in the Baltimore area when he was a high school senior. We haven't picked our outstanding player. Is the game over, or is it?
Well, the goalposts are coming down nonetheless, and now the fans again are heading in a southerly direction here in East Lansing, Michigan, and let's rerun it again. Win it for the Duffer. All right. This was a first and goal play. Watch the official up here at the top of your screen. And now, lower right-hand screen.
He signaled a touchdown, the referee.
And there, this apparently came after time had run out, and they were unofficially lined up, or improperly lined up, Duffy. So we're trying to get Gene Calhoun or get some sort of an official rundown on what happened. We've done a lot of games, Duffy, over 500, and I don't ever think I've seen an ending such as this. Well, while we're trying,
a bizarre ending, Chris.
Well, while we're trying to get the official, let's take a break from one of our important sponsors, okay? We'll try to explain what has transpired up to this point. On second and goal, failing on first and goal to get in, trailing 13-16, there was confusion as to what really happened. Did Ohio State get in? Were they improperly lined up? Did they get the go-ahead touchdown? We recall counting to 2 seconds, then watched the play. We've just received word, as we'll watch the last seconds again, here it is, that we will not have an official ending to this game until Commissioner Wayne Duke of the Big Ten talks to his referee, Gene Calhoun. I don't know.
I don't know, Chris, unless they didn't get the ball snapped before the time ran out. That's the only thing that
Well, we both saw the clock run out.
Wayne Duke is going to make a decision, but I wouldn't want to be in his shoes right now because either way, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. If he elects to allow this touchdown, there'll be a happy group of Buckeyes. If he doesn't give it, if he doesn't count it, it's going to, they signaled a touchdown. However, one of the officials was elected to be the official timekeeper on the field, and he may have come in and said that Falk had run out before the snap at the center.
Right, you see the linesman at the top coming in. Now watch his. He indicates a touchdown. However, perhaps time had expired prior to the snap. We don't know. We're trying to get a ruling from the commissioner before we send it back to Jim McKay and Dave Dials for more scores. But coming into this game, Michigan State, a huge underdog, probably by 25 points. They're on defense now. And Harold Henson, on a first and goal, gets it that far. That was the play before. Ohio State was out of timeouts, so they could not stop the clock. The clock rolling. 3, 2, and it has to be 1 before the snap or expired.
I don't know. I don't know. The official who keeps the official time down the field, or who's responsible for that, wasn't in our vision, wasn't in our view.
Well, a few battles down on the field. Some people with souvenirs that other folks want. But there were 78,533. So now, let's look at it once more. The beauty of videotape replay. This is the play, first and goal from a tee at Howard. That is Henson. Harold Henson, who scored the only Ohio State touchdown. Now, did all 11 players get set for a second before the snap, or did the snap come after time had expired? Well, we'll pass along that ruling because, remember, this is only the first part of a doubleheader. LSU and Alabama coming up later. Right now, down on the field, and Jim Lampley.
It is not yet clear who has won this football game. Commissioner Wayne Duke has gone to the officials'
Lampley, who has very little room to breathe down there and not very comfortable because these are fired up fans, and meeting or equaling them was the Michigan State football team that had won its last 2 games over Purdue and Wisconsin, had tied Illinois prior to that. A PA announcement here did not satisfy the partisan Michigan State fans, but recapping, Ohio State got off with a 22-yard field goal. Michigan State came back and tied it up with a 39-yarder. And then Ohio State went ahead 13-3. And then Michigan State scored. They tried for 2. It failed. And then on an 88-yard touchdown play, Jackson put Michigan State on top again. Once again, we will not give you a final score because it is not official. That's the last one that was on the scoreboard here. We will be back with a definitive report in East Lansing momentarily. Travel arrangements made through a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. There's a new spirit, a new look in the friendly skies. Catch the spirit of friendship service. The preceding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as a leader in sports television.
Turns out they will sing the praises of Levi Jackson in the streets of East Lansing tonight. There were 3:17 left in the game, and his team was trailing Ohio State when from his own 12-yard line, Levi Jackson went all the way for a touchdown. Unbelievable. Disbelief everywhere among the crowd, among more than 78,000 people. But one issue is still in doubt. Who won the game? This was the ending, 1st and goal from the 1 for Ohio State, ranked 1 in the nation, mighty Ohio State. But did they get this next play in, or did they not? At this moment, the commissioner of the Big Ten, Wayne Duke, is still in the dressing room with the officials. A man went over, but there was a signal that the game was over. There was also a touchdown signal. And who won it? Did State win in the upset of the year, 16-13, or did Ohio State win 19-16? We'll find out all these things on the Prudential College Scoreboard. The Prudential College Scoreboard is brought to you by the Prudential Insurance Company of America, a company people will come back to. When you think about your financial security, see a Prudential agent. Get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. Well, I'm Jim McKay, and as we said, the issue is still very much in doubt. Once again, Wayne Duke, the commissioner of the Big Ten, has gone to the officials' dressing room, presumably to confer with official Gene Calhoun. Looks like there is some news. Let's go to Jim Lampley at the stadium.
It is still impossible to get a definitive report as to whether this football game is over. However, the officials, the game officials, are no longer in the dressing room, no longer in the stadium. They have gone to another area of the campus. Apparently, Commissioner Wayne Duke is with them, but I do not know that for sure. However, the best evidence we have is that the officials are gone, and the game is in all evidence over with. Now back to Jim McKay in New York.
It was a little bit difficult, as you heard, to make out Jim Lampley with all that chaos and confusion in the stadium, but I believe his last sentence was that as they see it now, it is all over and done with, and the officials have left the stadium. However, we will be checking again, I'm sure, when this is absolutely official, that apparently Michigan State has upset mighty Ohio State in the college football upset of the year. Now, scores on the Prudential College Scoreboard. Here's Dave Dials.
Well, Jim, I don't know who's in there with the officials, but I know one place I don't want to be. That's in the locker room right now with Woody.
The excitement of sports lies in the uncertainty of the outcome, of watching the drama unfold before your eyes. At its most thrilling, the space between victory and defeat can be a matter of inches or in tenths of seconds. Sometimes it's both, and the result remains in dispute. The 1974 Ohio State-Michigan State contest was one of those games, and its final seconds will frustrate Buckeye fans for eternity.
November 9th, 1974, East Lansing, Michigan. The undefeated and top-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes versus the upset-minded Spartans of Michigan State. A Spartan Stadium crowd of over 78,000 witnessed what many observers still call the most controversial climax in the history of the Big Ten. Coming into the game, the 8-0 Buckeyes, led by All-American tailback Archie Griffin, had outscored their opponents 360-75. On defense, the Buckeyes were equally dominating, having surrendered no more than one touchdown in each of their last 7 games. Michigan State, on the other hand, was a mediocre 4-3-1, including a 56-14 drubbing at the hands of UCLA. The game looked like a mismatch, but the Buckeyes knew firsthand that the Spartans were not to be taken lightly, especially in East Lansing.
Michigan State was a different team playing at home than they were playing on the road. They notoriously are the spoiler. And man, if they're in a position to knock us off late in the season, which it typically is, up there, they're going to do it.
2 seasons before, the Spartans upset the Buckeyes, handing them their only regular season loss. This time, Coach Woody Hayes was so wary of the Spartans, he altered his team's usual practice routine.
We did not prepare for Michigan. Woody couldn't afford that. In fact, I don't know that we ever prepared for Michigan during the Michigan State week in any year.
Still, as they took the field, the Buckeyes sensed trouble.
The boos and the roar you just heard greet the Buckeyes.
I remember feeling like things are not right. There was a sense in the air that, I couldn't put my finger on it.
I remember warm-ups for the game was really weird. The fans were really almost vicious. You can't hardly turn around, you can't hear, they're yelling at you, everything you can think of, questioning your parentage, and everything that goes along with that.
The bench seemed like you were in the stands. That's how close the fans were to the team.
It's a nasty place to play. It's everything college football's supposed to be.
The raucous home crowd seemed to boost the Spartans' normal level of play.
We didn't expect them to be as good as they were. And quite honestly, they probably weren't that great of a football team because they weren't consistent through the course of the year. But they played great against us that day. It was a hard-hitting game from the get-go.
They had still, to that day, had a reputation that kind of like the Steelers used to be in the old days, as they lost all the games, but they always beat the bejeebers out of you because it was always a tough game.
It was a tough, hard-hitting, every time you got tackled, every time you hit, it would sting.
But I can remember getting hit 3 or 4 times and thinking, those are the 3 or 4 hardest hits that I've ever had. And those came in that game against Michigan State.
The Spartan defense in particular had come to play. Their physical style threw a wrench into the normally potent Buckeye machine. Numerous drives stalled. Field goals were missed, and turnovers, 2 fumbles and an interception, were killing the Buckeyes' attack.
You can't turn the ball over, especially when you're playing away, especially when you're playing in East Lansing.
Ohio State's struggles on offense weren't their only concern. Their heralded Buckeye defense had been crippled by injuries, forcing them to adjust on the fly.
I think I was playing corner at the time, which was a position I shouldn't have been playing to begin with, rather than playing my safety position, but because of injuries, they decided to shift me around.
I think that Timmy was probably one of the greatest athletes I ever played with, no question. Smart, tough, very competitive. I have always loved and respected Tim because he's one of the few players that will play with pain.
I had a separated shoulder on one side and stretched ligaments on the other side and a knee. So I could barely run and I could barely hit. And, hindsight being 20/20, you take yourself out of the game. I wasn't going to take myself out of the game.
Playing with will and determination, the Ohio State defense was stifling. In fact, the Buckeyes dominated play. But a last-second Michigan State field goal at the end of the half sent the teams into the locker room tied at 3. The score was a shock to everyone except Woody Hayes.
Woody was great in anticipating certain things during the course of the year, and I can remember him paying a lot of attention to the emotion of that game in 1974.
He tried to prepare us for it, and still, no matter what he said, no matter what he did, we didn't understand what we were going to be facing when we went there.
I can remember him throwing a plastic picture of water against the wall in our meeting room, trying to emotionally prepare us for that game, trying to get us excited, saying, hey, look, you can't take these guys lightly because they're just going to knock your head off. And he used those exact words. Woody knew what was going to happen, but we didn't heed Woody's notice.
Tied 3-3 at the half, the 1974 Buckeyes realized the hard-hitting Michigan State Spartans were trying to repeat their 1972 upset win. Any thoughts of easy victory had been abandoned.
Most of those games that year, we were up 28-0 by the end of the third quarter minimum. So at that point, we weren't taking Michigan State lightly. I think Michigan State wore us down.
The offensive woes that plagued the Buckeyes in the first half continued. Their opening second-half drive stalled at the MSU 2, and the Buckeyes were forced to settle for a second Tom Claiborne field goal and a precarious 6-3 lead. The score stayed that way until the fourth quarter when Ohio State safety Steve Luke recovered a Michigan State fumble.
The sprint out by Baggett, and he comes up the middle of 30, fumbles, and it's Ohio State ball! Ohio State ball! He fumbles.
The Buckeyes finally converted when Champ Henson's one-yard plunge capped a 44-yard drive.
He gives to Henson, and it's a touchdown, Ohio! And they now have a 12-3 lead, and the Buckeyes take it in, finally.
The extra point gave the Buckeyes a 13-3 lead, a margin that usually assured victory.
If there was one characteristic of a Woody Hayes type defense back at that time, or almost any time that he coached at Ohio State, it was that the Ohio State defense never gave up the big plays. If you're going to score against Ohio State, you're going to have to drive it and make it on a series of short gains. And it was pretty uncharacteristic of an Ohio State defense to give up the big plays. Yet in the last 9 minutes of that game, Ohio State gave up 2 huge touchdowns.
The first came with just 5:30 left when Michigan State quarterback Charlie Baggett stunned the Buckeyes with a 44-yard bomb to receiver Mike Jones. It was the kind of play the All-American Fox routinely snuffed out when healthy. But on this day, his injury-riddled body wouldn't respond.
I saw it coming, but not in time. And when I went to plant and do what I needed to do to run, just didn't have it, physically didn't have it.
The play brought the Spartans to within 4 points, 13-9, and put them right back in the ballgame. Back on offense, the Buckeyes tried to grind down the clock, but as it had all day long, the OSU offense struggled to move the ball. Forced to punt, the Buckeyes turned to All-American punter Tom Skladany, who delivered a 55-yard kick, which pinned the Spartans back on their own 12-yard line. The game was now in the hands of the Ohio State defense. On the first play, the unthinkable happened.
The running backs are Jackson and Bays. It is Jackson loose at the 30. He may go all the way. Jimmy Fox has a shot on him and misses him. He's going for a touchdown. Levi Jackson goes all the way for a touchdown.
Levi Jackson runs 88 yards. Who would have ever thought that anybody could do that against us late in the game?
Nobody never ran a touchdown against us like that before. I mean, not even 50 yards, let alone 88 yards.
I still see Levi Jackson running down that sideline. You keep a team in a game long enough, the momentum starts changing and anything can happen.
Jackson's run remains the second longest run ever against Ohio State. More importantly, it put the Spartans ahead 16-13. With just 3:17 remaining, the Buckeyes knew their national title hopes hung in the balance.
What I did with the guys was get them in the huddle, give them something positive to think about. We're going to do it. We're going to score. So let's everybody get on the same page. Let's hold hands right now. We go with the play.
Archie Griffin's 31-yard sprint to the Michigan State 40-yard line brought the OSU offense to life. With a sudden sense of urgency, the Buckeyes surged deep into Spartan territory.
I wasn't very optimistic when we started the drive, but then as we marched, obviously that momentum did build, and then with that, confidence started setting in.
Once I kind of led the charge and everybody else started to rally around what I was saying, and then the plays started happening.
From the Spartan 6, fullback Champ Henson drove the ball to within inches of the end zone. With Woody looking on and time running out, Henson tried again.
Griffin, Henson, and Bashnagel are the running backs. It is Henson forging his way forward to about the 1-yard line. didn't get in, I don't believe. Counting. 7 seconds. And are they going to give him a chance to get a playoff? They didn't give him a chance to get the playoff.
Or had they?
I was at that game, and I was seated right on the goal line where that play happened. And I'll never forget, one official raised his hands, touchdown. Another official came over and went like this, no touchdown.
The atmosphere was so electric in that stadium. I think the officials were intimidated, I really do. I think they felt as though they were almost afraid to make the calls the right way.
After Champ Henson didn't get in, I'm running up and down the side, up and down from the right tackle to left tackle, trying to get the guys up.
It turned out later, I found that these guys were holding our players down, which is the thing to do.
All at the same time.
They got to the line of scrimmage, the ball was centered, and it squirted between Cornelius Green's legs. Brian Baschnagel picked it up and took the ball into the end zone. There was just total confusion everywhere. I think most people, players and fans and everybody alike, was what really happened. I mean, did we win or did we not win?
It took 45 minutes before the answer was known.
To purchase a video cassette of the program you're watching, visit the official website of Buckeye Classics, buckeyeclassics.com. Each tape contains 3 great Buckeye Classics episodes for just $14.95, plus shipping and handling.
Final seconds of the 1974 Ohio State-Michigan State game were so chaotic, even the officials were uncertain of the outcome.
Nobody knew what happened at the end of the game.
I'd never seen anything like it, and I don't think anybody ever had, and they may never again. It was eerie. The mood in the press box was one of disbelief.
I think there was a stadium crowd that day of close to 80,000, and I'm going to estimate that probably 40,000 of the people were still in the stands 46 minutes after time had expired, just trying to find out who won this football game.
We were all in a holding pattern in the locker room for about 15 minutes because we thought we were going to go out there and play that last play.
I know that Woody was pretty adamant. He thought that we at least should have had the opportunity to run one more play. And he was pretty firm with that. He would not let us get undressed after we got into the locker room.
We don't know what's going to happen, but we know it's not good. You know, a lot of times when Woody would get mad or get upset, it was an act. You know, Woody was a great actor, but he was mad this day for real.
All of a sudden the door opens up and it's Wayne Duke, Big Ten commissioner. I mean, he slinks into the room, you know. He didn't open the door, he kind of like opens it and like slides in, you know, and well, Woody's like steaming by then, you know.
And we were told that Michigan State won the football game, and it was upsetting. Yeah, our guys were upset. Coach Hayes was upset. He was really upset.
Woody had the commissioner of the Big Ten, Wayne Duke, had him by his lapels and had his feet off the ground and banging him against the locker saying, what do you mean? You know, you can't overrule this.
Duke's official explanation was that time had elapsed before the final snap, but Hayes would have none of it.
All I heard was this big crash into the locker, and I heard, we better not lose this game. We better not lose this game because of that. Now, what are you going to do about this, Wayne Duke? What are you going to do about this?
And finally, Wayne Duke says, I can't talk to you, you're delirious. Woody said, you're right, I'm delirious, and went after him.
The thing that Woody hated more than anything else in life is when he felt like he was getting cheated of something. And it wasn't necessarily for his sake, it was for the sake of the team and the players. He just felt like he was getting cheated, that it was the officials that were cheating us. And of course, you know how Woody felt about officials.
One of the coaches, Coach, your heart, remember your heart. And he took his medicine out and threw it against the wall and said, I want to die.
There was no gray area for Woody. It was either right or wrong. And once he saw that, you know, we were on the right side of things, he could not understand why it couldn't be overturned and why we didn't win that football game.
That's what I loved about Woody. Woody fought for us. Woody was extremely fair. I mean, he'd get down on you, he'd call you all kinds of names, If he felt like you were cheating yourself or cheating the team, he'd let you know about it. But on the other hand, if he thought that you were doing the right thing and you were giving the best effort, well, then he'd tell you about that as well. Well, games were exactly the same way as he would treat you as a person. And that is, if he feels like he's getting cheated, he's gonna go off the deep end with it, and he's gonna fight for us. He's gonna fight for all of us.
Dissatisfied with the officials and the commissioner, Hayes decided to take matters into his own hands.
So then Woody came into our locker room and tried to get a group of players together to go over into the Michigan State locker room to beat them up. We were, you know what, if we couldn't beat them on the field, we were going to beat them in the locker room.
He was ready to do it. I mean, the whole team, really.
We had a bunch of guys ready to go. I was around there, I'll go.
But our cooler minds, everybody's cooler minds, including Coach Hayes, prevailed, and we were upset.
Can you imagine Ohio State going over and fighting Michigan State in their locker room?
I don't know what that's going to do, but that's the old school move. You lose the game, I guess you want to fight by there.
But as much as the official decision seemed unjust, the Buckeyes knew that they deserved much of the blame.
We put ourselves in our own situation that we should have, never gotten ourselves into.
Typically, we would not have been in a position in that game, in any game, where a long run like that would have beaten us.
They were fired up for us, and I think we didn't take them as seriously as they took us.
In spite of his protest, Coach Woody Hayes knew the final responsibility was always his.
He always felt like he could have coached better, and he always questioned himself, what could he have done better? And I really respected Woody for that.
The 1974 Ohio State-Michigan State game also highlighted a strange irony. From 1972 through 75, Ohio State never lost to Michigan, but they lost twice to Michigan State.
Probably when it's all said and done, that's probably the game that I would have feared the most had I known any of those games up in Michigan State. I would have feared the most if I had known what the results would have been.
Every time I think about it, it makes me sick. Because that was our game. That was our game. We were #1 in the country that year. So, that was a bitter pill to swallow.
That hurt, and it's the one that got away from us. But in order to have a national championship team, you've got to win those, and we didn't get that done.
That game, you have dreams about that game. Nightmares would be more appropriate, nightmares.
Michigan is going for a touchdown! Levi Jackson goes all the way for a touchdown, and the Spartans lead it 15-13.
The 1974 Buckeyes had little time to mourn their loss to the Spartans. 2 weeks later, they faced Michigan with the Big Ten title on the line. Ohio State regrouped and beat the Wolverines 12-10 on the strength of 4 Tom Clavin field goals. Clavin's kick sent the Buckeyes west to a 3rd straight Rose Bowl, their 5th in 7 years. For Buckeye Classics, I'm Archie Griffin. Thanks for watching.
To purchase a video cassette of the program you're watching, visit the official website of Buckeye Classics, buckeyeclassics.com. Each tape contains 3 great Buckeye Classics episodes for just $14.95, plus shipping and handling.